There have been so many great games in 2023.
Stop right there, Ensign.
This is my territory, and you're in it.
Bingle bongle dingle dangle.
Enemies here? What's wrong? He's reading. It can't be.
What happened?
An ambush? Joker, can you handle this?
Joker!
Oh no.
Capture him!
You heard it up top. We are back with another episode, except it's a special one. Another couple ones have gone by. That means we're doing a Whatcha, where your hosts are literally just going to be talking about what they're enjoying here on Normies Like Us. Colin.
Mike.
This is Normie Jacob.
Wow.
All the normies out here. So, doing another Whatcha 270. It blows my mind.
Happy 270, 270.
Boys. Congratulations.
I hope I make it to 270,
Right. We'll see. Brain jars. But yeah, we got a proper Whatcha, a lot of catch up. I'm excited about it. We did the Spooktacular earlier, which is similar format, but not quite the same. So here we're going to be talking about a little bit of gaming, a little bit of what we've been watching, and maybe tease it up top. We'll maybe make some predictions for the Game Awards as those categories have come out. But otherwise, how you guys doing for this Whatcha? We've done it 270. Colin, how you feeling?
We're getting close to 300. I'm getting a little nervous about that, Mike, but excited.
Well, we know what movie we can cover, right? It's just the Zack Snyder.
That's right.
Famous
Sparta.
Let's announce it now.
This is podcast.
Normies.
What the 300th episode is, that would be funny.
That is funny,
that's
just
a
to
funny
do that
idea.
movie and not a Whatcha. We'll do it after. Anyway, don't hold us to it.
301.
Sword to my throat. Who knows? Yeah, but it's amazing.
Did you know, Mike, that film has a sequel? Have you seen that sequel?
That's right.
I know there's a
I've seen
sequel
it.
where they wear blue, but I haven't seen it.
You've seen it, Jacob?
Yeah, as in Eva Green is in that, I think.
Yes.
And I love
She
Eva
plays a
Green.
witch pirate who I believe battles people by having sex with them. So yes,
Yeah.
I have seen it, of course.
Sign me up.
Zack Snyder joint. Who's the lead in that?
I
feel like
hard to
It's
know.
not Michael Fassbender, but I think it's a guy that looks like Michael Fassbender.
Oh, geez.
But I can't remember. Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's not
I thought it was a Terminator guy.
Hugh Jackman.
It's not the killer, it's the hitman. Gotcha.
It's not Gerard Butler.
Sullivan Stapleton. Okay.
No. No,
what it
it's
says.
not.
I don't
Wow.
know. Apparently. Anyway, we're not here to talk
Yeah.
about 300. That'll be later.
We should be.
30
270,
more
my favorite movie.
episodes.
There's the prequel.
That's right. Before they
They're
do
missing
30 more
30
guys.
soldiers.
That's
I'm excited to talk about the Game Awards. I was saying to you guys, I have not looked at the nominations or anything. So I was going to try to guess at least Game of the Year, the nominations, and see how many I can get right.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that's a fun idea.
There might be some games we've been playing on that list. So I say let's jump over to that right now and see. We are back here on Normies Like Us. We are talking a Whatcha. In fact, we're going to be talking Whatcha playing.
That's right.
That's right. Game on, normies. That's what we're doing. Some gaming catch up. We don't do a ton of gaming episodes generally. Usually it's relegated to these Whatchas. It's pretty rare that we do dedicated gaming episodes, but this will be fun to kind of catch everybody up on what we've been playing.
Getting harder and harder to get us on the same page, Mike. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we all play kind of different stuff, different genres, and it's hard also to what's a big blockbuster game that everybody's going to play, and what makes sense for an episode. So it's cool to kind of do these little catch-ups, and with the Game of the Year nominees coming out and all the Game Awards coming out, it's a perfect time to do it. So I guess we would start there, and like we said, Jacob will say Game of the Year.
Yes.
Let's have you guess what games are in there, and there are
Okay.
six
many
total
Six
games
total.
are nominated
Well,
for Game of the
obviously,
Year.
yeah. Obviously Baldur's Gate 3, I was going to say that's got to be a lock.
That's one of
my
them in
Game
there.
of the Year.
A little bias there. A game we did do an episode on. Talk
True,
about a
that's right.
blockbuster.
And we might talk about in this episode some more too.
That's right.
So,
That's right. So that's
so
one
yeah,
of them.
that's a lock for me. That's got to win in my opinion. I'm gonna say Tears of the Kingdom. Obviously, that's another lock to be nominated. And I'll throw in the new Mario, Elephant Mario.
Now,
right?
why
Yep,
is that a lot?
That's in there, but why?
It's new Mario.
It's
you know?
shocking.
I haven't played it, but as far as
Mario.
I know, it's good. People like Mario.
So there are three others. So you venture to guess what
others.
those might
Great
be.
guesses so far.
No, those
Yeah.
are all
Nailing
you nailed
it.
all three.
Well, those are my three that I was like for sure. Otherwise, I'm going to say here's some ones that I don't think. No Starfield,
Mhm.
no Armored Core 6,
Correct.
Obviously, Cyberpunk doesn't count. DLC doesn't count.
Right.
So those are
We
out.
fixed it. Them literally just being like, we fixed it. We deserve Game
Let
of the
them
Year.
back
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
No.
Retroactively.
They didn't get nominated when they came out, did they? I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
because it was fucking broken.
Broken.
Yeah. They should
may be
have like a
nominated for some
best,
stuff,
a
but-
most improved award.
No.
Yeah, they have a
should-
best-
there's- I do not want to incentivize that.
I don't want to bury, but there is a category I looked at these earlier for best community support, and No Man's Sky is nominated for fixing
Oh,
the
that's
game.
cool.
So who knows?
I do
did,
like
yeah.
that then.
They
Okay.
added a ton
That's
of
interesting,
stuff.
Mike.
So that's where that could maybe live. But so yeah,
Yeah.
definitely no Armored Core.
Those are all
unfortunately.
good guesses too.
But the other three, I guess,
Starfield, I'm
round
saying
it out.
didn't make the cut. Let me think now. So let's see.
what else
came
did
out
you
this
play
year?
this
It's a
year? What else
PlayStation
did we
exclusive.
talk?
What else
It's a
did we talk?
PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
Oh, Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
And the other
Spider-Man
two are
and Venom.
spooky. Yeah,
Spider-Man
the
and
other two are
Venom.
spooky game.
Spooky. I'm gonna say. Well, let me think. There's usually like an indie, like last year's Stray, right? So what was this year's Stray? The only thing I can think of in terms of like indie or smaller games, there's this game called Hi-Fi Rush.
Ah, yeah.
Did that
It's
make it?
Jet Set
Hi-Fi
Radio.
Rush,
It's not
Jet
nominated
Set
for
Radio,
Game of the
yeah.
Year, but it is nominated
Okay,
for
so I
Best
didn't make the
Indie and
cut.
stuff like that.
I'm
The
gonna
other two,
say,
unless
yeah.
you want to guess again.
I have one other idea.
Stray
You said
was
spooky,
up for Game of the Year.
but I
That's
just got
crazy.
yeah, Stray last year because it was like the indie darling, I guess. But I guess there
Yeah.
wasn't really a game like that. I guess this year that was
It
that
like blew up as
level.
being a Stray. Yeah.
Yeah. You did say spooky, and I thought of one other one. Resident Evil 4. remake.
Correct. And Alan Wake 2. So you got
Alan Wake 2. Okay,
with
I
the
was not
hint
going
of
to guess that.
PlayStation, you got 5 out of 6. So good job.
Alan Wake from Fortnite, of course.
Alan Wake from
Does a
Fortnite.
remake count as best game?
You know what?
Well, that's the
a
question.
good question. I would say
You know,
no.
Cyberpunk DLC can't make it, but
Well,
A
again,
remake of another game.
that's
Yeah.
not.
It's much improved, but I don't think it's going to win. But yeah, I agree with Jacob. For me, my prediction: Baldur's Gate 3 lock Game of the Year. Colin, do you have any?
Oh,
agree or disagree?
I mean, I want to tear these apart. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is a lock. I have still have not experienced it, but just from the depth you guys have explained it to me, I don't see how it couldn't be, right?
yeah. And
it's
Tears
like,
of the Kingdom, I thought that
Okay.
was a lock to be nominated as well, just because, you know, people were saying,
Well,
you know, it's good,
and
so.
but that's what I'm fine with. I look at it and go, you know what? Nintendo didn't get rid of this hardware. They didn't get past 720 in a world where people are moving on to like 5K and
4K,
6K.
Right.
Yeah, it's like it's totally fine, but they pushed the boundaries. They invented a game that like has a world inside it, like Minecraft the adventure game. Wow, incredible. But then you look at the other side and you go like, okay, well, Nintendo already got it. Why do you have to give it up to this legacy platformer? That again, I have not played Mario Wonder, but I just cannot imagine it pushing the boundaries of gaming forward.
Well, let me
right,
ask you
right.
this. So, what didn't make the cut that you would have rather seen nominated?
It's a good question.
I'm trying to think of what else.
I-
Also,
yeah.
that, the Hogwarts transphobic wizards didn't make the cut either.
That's right. Yeah, they didn't make the cut.
Kind of
we all
surprising.
won. We all won, Jacob. I would say to give Mike some love, you know, his beloved From Software. I have not played Armored Core, but I would have to assume it's a little more engaging or high end than, I don't know, something else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like
not an Elden
reinventing
Ring
a
level,
genre, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very niche. That's why it's not Game of the Year caliber. Like it's super
Yeah.
niche, but it is doing something to push like a dead genre back into the spotlight. Mario's just another Mario. I would assume. I haven't played it.
But
So
you can turn into an elephant, though.
yeah, it's true.
So it's got that going for it.
But I do like Armored
like
Core, but I
last
don't
year-
think it's Game of the Year caliber. It's not
No.
Elden Ring. It's for
Because Elden
specific
Ring
people,
was.
and I'm one
Did
of them.
Elden Ring win last year?
Yes,
I can't
absolutely.
remember. Okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And that was kind of a big game-changing game, and that's kind of what Baldur's Gate 3 is this year.
Yes, correct.
I don't know what else would have
Ragnarok
been
was
nominated.
last year.
It was nominated as well. That was the big
God of
debate:
War?
Elden Ring
Okay.
or God of War, and it was
That
Elden
makes
Ring.
sense.
Yeah,
And like
Okay.
Spider-Man 2, does that deserve to be nominated? I mean, I haven't played it, but it's just, is it that
I
much
hear it's the
different
best
from
Spider-Man
the other
game.
Spider-Man?
Yeah, I mean, it's really good, I guess, at the metric of that. But then it's something where it's like, that's like a game you could probably knock out in, I think, like 25, 30 hours, which I know sounds like a big commitment, but in the
Mhm.
terms of video game length, not necessarily
that's
right.
nothing.
But then, you know, you look at some of these other games that just give you I mean, 1 billion hours of gameplay not being up. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've played 71 hours of Baldur Gate this past 2 weeks and 200 hours total, and I'm not done. But the other thing to look at these nominees is they're all continuations of a series or a remake, except Baldur's Gate 2, but Baldur's Gate is kind of the feel-good story of like Larry in a smaller studio, like knocking it out of the park, and really doing something that, bringing this type of game to the number of audiences that it has, like almost 1 million concurrent players at its peak, like that's insane. So it's got to be Baldur's Gate. But
I would say I would rather have, like I said, the Hi-Fi Rush or an indie game like that instead of your Super Mario's or your Spider-Mans.
I would take Resident Evil 4 out, honestly. Even though I love that game and it's great, but I don't think you can do Game of the Year for a remake. That doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's really cool that Alan Wake, which came out 2 weeks ago, squeezed in there. That's
Alan Wake,
remarkable to me.
I've been hearing a lot of buzz about that. Yeah, so good for them.
I haven't played that game. I don't know anything about it, but it looks spooky.
I would put Mike. I would put that Pinocchio game, Liza P, in there.
Liza P.
I have seen so many insane myth videos where I'm like, you know what? Those people took a chance and maybe robbed From Software of like their software.
Well, they're saying it's the best non
it's like better Bloodborne.
How can it look so much like Bloodborne without them just being like, yoink?
Because it's Pinocchio.
Yeah, it's public domain, I guess.
It's public domain.
Yeah.
That's funny. Lives of P is in like the best indie, I believe, category. And
really?
Stuff like that.
Awesome.
So that's good for them. Best art direction as well. I'm just kind of flipping through here for some other relevant
what other
things.
categories are
I saw like all the RPGs are taken by like the Advanced Wars remake, Jacob. Their Octopath Traveler 2, I think, squeezed in there as well. Like there's some really good JRPG stuff or like tactics stuff that's up too.
Baldur's Gate, that's an RPG.
I got the top 5 for best RPG: Baldur's Gate, Liza P, Starfield, Sea of Stars, and Final Fantasy 16, which I think nobody cares about on Earth.
What is it?
I literally think nobody cares about Final Fantasy
16. Oh, the Dark Souls Final Fantasy, Jacob / Game of Thrones.
It came out.
It's a new mainline Final Fantasy that came out. I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
It just seems like
Sea of Stars.
Plays it.
But it's not that 7 remake, Mike. It's not like that part 2 that we're all waiting for. Nobody cares about 16, Jacob. But Sea of Stars, I've been hearing a lot of awesome stuff.
Sea of Stars, I've heard about. It's sort of an old school 2D JRPG, like like your Final Fantasy, your older Final Fantasies.
Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger, turn-based combat. So that looks fun. And then Starfield, I guess they threw Starfield a bone and threw them in the RPG category. They're like, here you go.
So you totally gave up on that, Jacob. You don't play that at all anymore.
I can get into it, but basically I've taken a pause on that game for now, but I do plan to return at some point. It's a very mid game, but it's fun if you just want to just want to relax. I just want to drive my little ship around in space, blow up some space pirates, and loot their bodies. I mean, it's fun for that.
Okay.
Right. The only other relevant
year for sure.
Yeah. The other relevant category, Armored Core, is in Best Action Game with Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant. It's either Hi-Fi Rush or Armored Core because I don't know shit about the other ones.
Dead Island 2 is... I've played Dead Island 1, so I know what that's about.
Dead Island Riptide.
As far as pure action, it probably can't touch the mechanics of Armored Core, though. Just mechanically playing an action combat thing. Armored Core.
I know Hi-Fi Rush is sort of a rhythm-based action game.
That's the only other one.
Cool idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a Jet Set Radio, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's made by the creators or something.
Yeah. So there's one more category I want to talk about, but that's more of a transitional category to the next segment. So before that, maybe just talk about some of the Whatchas. Colin, you want to kick it off? What of these nominees have you been playing? And, where you at?
Am I going to track down Baldur's Gate is a big question I've been grappling with. And I think I probably will for the holiday season. But boy, but then the hours, Mike. I don't know. I've been playing some stuff. Not any of these nominees except for I can report. Actually, here's a good one to say, look, last couple episodes that we've done these, maybe the last 2 Whatchas, it's been like, well, like Jacob came over, we played 2 hours of Zelda, I I put it away. I haven't touched it again. It's like the biggest game ever.
Right.
Well, guess what, y'all? I got a little more time on my hands. I'm happy to say I have now 100% completed Tears of the Kingdom.
Wow. Congratulations.
Wipe that thing out. I did not do the little find you quest of the little golden shits where there's like
You didn't find all the
991
Korok
of those.
seeds?
No, I'm
Think of the
not
gold
doing that
bananas,
bullshit.
as it were.
No,
Yeah.
no, absolutely not. But everything else, I mean,
Hell yeah.
and I fell in love, and the story is everything I wanted it to be. The world, just to harp on again that mechanics thing, you get a little frustrated where you're like, why did they take out some of the easier mechanics? Like, Jacob, you're playing a little Breath of the Wild, or have been playing a little since our last couple watches. You've got those like buttons where you're like, oh, this is the thing that like whips out your little iPad. The iPad can do 15,000 things, at the click of a second. It makes interacting with this entire world so much easier. Well, for story reasons, all that technology magically melted or disappeared after the last one because they want you to like gear towards thinking how this new game is made with this new flow of these building mechanics. And it adds an extra annoying layer to everything. But once you get down the flow of like, but I have the possibility in front of me to do anything. I've lost to this flying Hydra, with multiple heads that's shooting beams at me multiple times. So why don't I stop just like thinking like Link on an adventure where I'm just like going into like a dungeon and like shooting arrows? How about I like build a tank? How about I like put down like treads and like the motor control and put like sentries on top and like guns equipped to it that shoot lasers and like target heads and ride that thing into the battle? And it just fucking rules, man. It's just a part of your brain that I just haven't experienced since I was a kid of like, wow, this video game's really making me think and I really love it. So
that's pretty great.
I recommend.
And that's the thing is like, can you say that they added enough from Breath of the Wild to be nominated? And I think they did because of the whole new mechanics of building and everything.
I think they added too much, in fact, to the point where I would say, Jacob, stop playing Breath of the Wild. Let me give you this copy now, Tears of the Kingdom, to play, because it invalidates the last game. You're wasting your time by playing this thing that like it's like a half game now in the wake of a game that's like 3 times a game. So
and that was crazy because Breath of the Wild was like everyone's going crazy. It's like Elden Ring, God of War, and Breath of the Wild. Like one of these, it's like the best shit ever. And now like the Tears of the Kingdom just invalidates it. I've heard that a lot, and I do really want to play Tears of the Kingdom, and I would probably just skip Breath of the Wild now if I ever get around to it.
And there's something to be said for I think the Breath of the Wild, the peaceful tranquility of it, where you're just running around these fields, you're riding on your horse, hang gliding, like it's a peaceful game,
It is. This is a lot more mania.
This is like there's stuff all over, like you're building stuff. It's kind of a little more crazy.
Rumor-wise, though, you also just hear these things where it's like maybe the Switch 2 is coming out soon. Maybe they will finally get to 1080p and join the world of 15 years ago when video games were like hitting that quality of graphics.
Right.
So you could probably wait.
Resolution. Yeah.
Well, my hot take, or I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think for the next Zelda game, it should be completely different. Because that's what Zelda's always done, is reinvented itself constantly. And we've gotten these 2 games that are very similar now, mechanic-wise, aesthetics, and everything. So it's time to switch it up, I think. And it's time to do something new.
I found myself narrative-wise as a fan of this IP, Jacob, being like, oh, the Triforce was never in this. Like the Triforce is not in these wild 2 games, and thinking like, oh, I kind of missed that. And then kind of second guessing myself and being like, well, no, these 2 games are unique. Like, let them do their own thing. But that half of me does go, well, I hope the next one totally reinvents it then and maybe does more traditional Zelda stuff, but has like, the same kind of world or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do they just do the original, Link to the Past or something now? Go back to the roots. It's like the Ju-on rule.
Right.
Every 2 entries, you reinvent it.
Well, now that they've switched to this open world format, which is popular with a lot of people, but there's a lot of people saying like, let's get like a more linear adventure back. Let's get fucking
I want to do the
64.
dungeons.
Give us Water Temple
time
and make me
now,
frustrated.
Here's put those metal boots on, drown.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stay on this real quick and say here's the big news for this. Now, we talked about this when we were doing our Mario episode. Oh, did you see Nintendo's getting so bold, they're maybe thinking about making movies about their other stuff. What would you guys like to see? And I think we all kind of agreed the most obvious choice is The Legend of Zelda to adapt and make into a movie. Now, what they announced this week is Inamura-san, the producer of this franchise, and Miyamoto, obviously the creator, Mario creator as well, have been working behind the scenes for the past 10 years as producers to make a live action adaptation. Boys, it is not going to be animated.
Right.
It's going to be a live action adaptation. Now, what do we think of this? We know a director is attached. It is Wes Ball, director of the Maze Runner trilogy and the upcoming Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh boy. Well,
I mean,
somebody hasn't
Tears
seen
of the
Maze
Kingdom
Runner,
of the Planet of the Apes.
Scorch Trials.
Maze Runner not do anything for me, but
That's
I
Fire
do
Temple.
love
What?
the Mean Monkeys. So maybe if his Mean Monkeys is good,
Yeah.
we'll see. I was reading who are they going to cast as Link? Here's some people. Could it be Tom Holland? Could it be a more unknown name?
Who are they going to
Could
cast
be.
as Link? Who could they cast that's a twink? We need someone who perfectly identifies that androgyny that is Link of
Get
Legend
Kobe.
of Zelda. Oh my
Get our
God.
Kobe actor.
That
I'm
would
not
be a
kidding.
great choice,
That's a good
Mike.
casting.
Who?
Yeah, they are the actor from Rise of the Evil Dead and One Piece, Kobe.
Kobe,
That would be a
right.
very interesting choice.
Yeah, I think they'd be great. Because Link doesn't speak. That's the thing. What do you do?
Do you double down on that, Mike?
Or do you go full? Do you lean into "Excuse me, princess"?
No, you don't do the quips.
That
You
would
do
be
not do
terrible.
the CDI game.
No, they would never.
Wait, I have an idea.
Excuse. Yeah.
A casting
That-
idea. Maybe we get Chris Pratt in there. Everybody
Yeah.
loves Chris Pratt.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
boy.
$1 billion boy. Get Chris Pratt in there.
I don't know.
It's a me, Ganondorf.
Yeah.
It's a me.
Yeah, have him be Ganondorf, and then who knows?
Well, 10 years.
That's
On the
a long
horizon,
time.
though. I wonder if it'll be good. They had struck gold with Mario, and One Piece was good. We're going to get Yu Yu Hakusho, see if that's any good. Adaptations are happening. Maybe it can be okay, but the not speaking is tricky. But we'll see. 10 years, hopefully it's good.
It's also going to be Sony, Mike, who brought us, of course, Last of Us, but then, of course, also brought us Uncharted.
And Pixels.
Well, my question is,
Link should have been in Pixels.
Yeah, true.
if they're doing a Legend of Zelda story, what are they? Is it going to be an original story? Is it going to be adapted from one of the games? And if so, which game would it be? Is it going to be the original, the old school one? Is it going to be
Ocarina
Link
of
to the
Time
Past
or something.
Yeah,
Time?
yeah.
You can make
It'll be
it the
interesting to
original
see.
one because it's there's always the hero of time or whatever is always it's almost reincarnated. So they could just do something completely original, put the Triforce. I think that's the safest bet. Don't adapt it, just kind of do its own little thing.
That's probably a good idea.
Then do a sequel and then reboot it. Yeah. We'll see though. Intriguing indeed.
Yes.
Well, from that same category,
Please,
Game of the
yes.
Year, I have been playing a ton of Baldur's Gate, and we have a whole episode on it, so we won't stay here too long, but it is just incredible. I have to say, it is got to be locked for Game of the Year. Just the content.
And you've been really into it recently and playing a lot of hours, right?
4 hours in the last 2 weeks or something. I've
So
been going crazy.
And you guys laid it out before. It's like a 3-act structure. So you are in Act 3 finally. The
I
final
made it
act.
to Act 3, and I have just been going crazy. There's so much to do. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's awesome. Yeah.
So are you close to the end, do you think? Or what's your status within the game?
I
now?
know what the end game is. There are several options laid before me for how to attempt to resolve that, and I'm just trying to complete all of those before I make my ultimate decision, just to complete everything. And side quests, you run into random stuff, so I'm just trying to clear out every single thing I come across.
Who are you kissing?
Karlak. She's the tall devil
Karlak.
lady. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like a
okay.
little hobbit, and you're in love with Karlak.
That's right.
She's my tall G.
great.
It's like Awen and Mary,
Yeah.
But I will say, I did a boss fight yesterday that took me 5 hours. I ended up in a dungeon with a very powerful boss. You couldn't camp in that dungeon, and my resources were very depleted by the time I got to the boss, and it took every ounce of what potions, what scrolls, what moves, switching out spells. Like I had to strategize so hard and try because like I was stuck. I can't leave there. Like if I can't defeat him, I'm stuck at this point in the game forever. And I'm like, we have nothing else we can do. And so,
but Mike, to be in a
incredible.
basement of like, it's the D&D session with your friends. This whole 5-hour session, it's just gonna be the final boss fight or whatever. I'm fucking jealous. That's awesome, dude.
It was one of the coolest things when I finally did it. It came down to the wire. Like I was reviving people every other turn, like with 1 hit point, just trying to like, please don't.
Well, the extra
die. It was nuts.
Cruel thing about it is when they don't allow you to rest beforehand. Like it's like a Dark Souls boss where there's no bonfire next to the boss. You got to run up. You got to do the run up and not die, and then kill the boss. And it's just like
that's what made it difficult. There was no way to rest, so I was really depleted on my resources, and it really tested me to like strategize. Like you were saying, Colin, I really had to be like, okay, this is what the enemy's going to do. This is what I have to my disposal. It wasn't an optimal fighting team because I was doing exploring in the dungeon, and it was like, yeah, that was it.
Oh, that's great too. I'm just going to level up these weird guys. I'll just kind of try. Oh no, it's the end game.
I have my lock picking guy. He doesn't fight good. I was like, oh jeez. So it was really it was wild, but that was very satisfying.
And what level are you at now? Have you reached level 20?
You can only get to level 12, unfortunately. So, but I did.
Oh, that's the level cap.
Yeah. Because when at level 20 in real D&D, you're like a god. But let me be a god. I have like 100,000 experience that is going into nothing right now. Like it just tells you how much you've accumulated, and I have like already.
Yeah, I didn't know it stopped at level 12 because like I feel like where I'm at now is and I haven't played in a little bit, which I'll get to, but I'm somewhere in Act 2. I think I'm nearing the end of Act 2, but I feel like I'm level. I don't know if I'm level like 8 or 9 already, so I feel like I feel like the level cap should be a little higher because I feel like once you get to Act 3, you're already at the level cap, and then you're just not progressing towards anything.
That bummed me out when I did hit 12, and I'm like, wait, I'm not leveling up. I just did like a crazy boss fight. Where's my level? And then I looked it up, and it is capped. But it does make you think. It means like the enemies do get smarter though. Like you're capped at your power, but your strategy needs to improve at that point. So
that's
there's still more growth. It's just not on the avatar.
Yeah, scale the bosses so that they're still tough when you're like level 16 or something. That would be interesting.
Yeah. But 15
maybe
if
they add DLC at some point, maybe they'll increase the level cap or something.
Yeah, at that level you're dealing with like gods and shit anyway, so they'll have to add like the outer planes, and then you can be level 20 and run around like a crazy dumbass. That would be sick. Awesome. So we'll see, but I'm loving it.
I'm excited to get to Act 3 at some point. Finally get to the city of Baldur's Gate, the titular Baldur's Gate.
No, my friend said you made it
until Act 3.
Yeah, he said you made it to Act 3. Right, just like Edgin. But he said, yeah, you made it to Baldur's Gate, so you finished the tutorial. There's just so much to do when you get there.
So funny.
It really ramps up. The story, the plot, everything gets really, really good once you start Act 3.
Which Act 1 is like a whole game in itself. Like if you took all the hours that you could spend in Act 1, that would be a fine game. It would be
the equivalent of like a full PS3 game, Jacob, where you'd be like, man, Divinity or whatever that thing you told us those original games they played. You'd be like, man, that's what a perfect game. They're like, no, you have like 2 more games tied into this game.
And I like the shift in each act where like Act 1 is like fun. It's like all forests and fields and it's like nice and sunny. Then you get to Act 2 and everything is like it's grim, shadow. It's the shadow realm basically, and everything's spooky and scary. Yeah. And then Act 3, who knows? But I'm excited to find out.
No, it's great. So game of the year. You pay once, you get hundreds of hours of content. I got to play an evil playthrough. There's plenty of stuff I'm sure I missed. Like there's so much content that I didn't even see or interact with. So way to go. But that's
the challenge.
Has there been any early word about DLC or anything?
Not that
I think there's going to be one. I mean, I don't know when it's coming out, but I think there'll be one DLC and then that's it basically. So it'll be like maybe add like a 20 to 50 hour extra content campaign type of thing. But the game is so complete already that it doesn't really need a lot added to it. I was gonna say if you do alternate playthroughs and stuff once you finish, the challenge is to do like the hardest difficulty solo run. So you do like a solo sorcerer run where you're just it's like extremely hard. But
that's got to be how. What if they hold person you? That doesn't sound fun at all.
camps or scraps at your camp at least, whatever
It's
his
like
name
people who
is.
love
Come
to
on.
do
Scratch.
the no
Scratch.
XP Elden Ring and Dark Souls type
Like a
runs.
level
and stuff
1
like that.
run, yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Glass
for 200 hours. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That's good to hear.
That's
that
my
you
update
That's
played
there.
awesome.
Yeah, it's
Basically, I
incredible.
just see, I get on Steam on my computer and I have my friends list, and I can see if you're not invisible or whatever. I can see what you're playing, and every time I see, oh, there's Mike playing freaking Baldur's Gate 3 again at 2 a.m. or whatever. So,
yeah.
But
last Saturday, I found myself looking and realizing it was 11 o'clock in the morning, and like I stayed up all night. I'm like, geez,
damn,
this is
pulled an
bad.
all-nighter.
That's very funny. I miss
Sometimes
those
that's what you
no
got to
days.
hair.
do. Yeah,
It's throwback to those days for sure.
that's right.
But yeah. How about
Well,
you,
for
Jacob?
me-
Anything else you've been playing?
For me, this is interesting because it's been a very normie / casual gaming, I would call it for me recently, because due to just work and other things in my personal life that have been taking up a lot of my free time, a lot of my gaming time recently. Yeah, so pretty much all the big single player games that I've been playing off and on, I've put them on pause for the moment. So your Baldur's Gate 3s, your Starfields, even your Cyberpunks, I'll get to the DLC eventually. And I do plan to come back to those games at some point. Like Baldur's Gate for sure, I'm going to come back to my campaign. But if you know normies, if you've been listening for a while, I have this chronic problem with games where I never finish them, right? Especially these long single player games where I get 2/3 of the way through and then I just put it down and never come back to it. It's a real problem. And I think part of it is I just don't want to ever want the game to feel like it's over, so I just never get to the last mission or something.
I like
that was
that.
a big problem with Cyberpunk for me for a long time, where I had I had like 99% complete. I just never started that last mission in
Just
Cyberpunk.
you and Johnny driving around crying,
That's right.
listening to that song from Edge Runners.
I like
Just don't
time
want
is
it to
ticking,
end.
but I need to buy 7 apartments.
I gotta go,
Hold
man. Yeah,
That's what's
hold on.
funny. Anytime there's
Let me see what Lamborghini I can buy.
Yeah, anytime there's like a time element in the campaign where, like Johnny Silverhand's just telling you, hey, your brain is basically dying like every day. And you're like, no, I got to buy every car, every apartment. I got to do every crime scene. Yeah.
You only live once, If I'm going to die, I might as well have all the houses.
Yeah. But I will say I did play a little Cyberpunk when the new update dropped, the reinvention, if you will, and not even just I didn't even buy the
2.0.
DLC, but I just got the 2.0 free update that comes with it, where it just completely changes the base game, completely changes skill points,
now, all that
vehicle
overhaul,
combat, police
A
behavior
wanted
is
level,
different. Yeah, it's all different, and it plays a lot better. And I messed around a little bit with that, but I'm excited to really get back into it once I get that Phantom Liberty DLC.
Yeah, I'm the same. I really want to play that Phantom Liberty, but I got Baldur's Gate to beat. I need to do Armored Core, which we'll talk about later, but gaming. Cyberpunk. And then the Resident Evil 4 has DLC that I haven't played either. So that's what's coming up once I finish Baldur's Gate and AC, but yeah.
But it has been a great year for games. But I will say, for me personally, like I said, Starfield on pause, Baldur's Gate on pause. I haven't played those games in like at least a month. Other than, we have our semi-weekly Baldur's Gate crew that we go around as a foursome, and me and Mike and 2 of our friends, and we
Incredible.
We do
gotta
that.
get that rolling again as well.
Yes, you guys do. And real quick, just before you jump off it, the Starfield complaint is it does not feel broken like early Cyberpunk did. It's just boring.
No, I had some technical issues when I first started. Figure those out. It runs totally fine now for me. And some people would say it's boring, and there are times when it can be boring, but it's the perfect Bethesda game for me, where you can just, like I said, if you want to just zone out for 2 hours, fly around to different planets, fuck up some outposts,
pick up cheese wheels.
everything.
I mean, when you say the best Bethesda games, it's like my Skyrim flashbacks of like walk to a town,
right?
Hit a guard, steal the guard stuff.
And again, it plays just like Fallout 4. If you ever played Fallout
Sure.
4, it plays very similar to that, except you can go in space and you can do all this stuff. I would say there's boring things to it, because if you're bored of that formula, it's not going to do much for you. And the aesthetics and the campaign writing is like not the most interesting thing in the world. It's all, this kind of new, hopeful future type thing. But then even it just feels kind of lazy at times. Like there's a planet that's the cyberpunk planet that's very, I think it's called Neon is the planet's name. So it's just like very generic. And
We have Night
it's
City
fun
at
though.
home. Night City for
Yeah.
Wish. Yeah.
And there's building components to it, and I love building, so you can build bases and you can build your own spaceship and do all this stuff, which is sounds more fun in practice than or in theory than it can be in practice sometimes, because there's all these, to build your own spaceship, there's all these rules of how it fits together that it's just more complicated than it needs to be. But I was enjoying it. I just took a break from it for a bit, so I'll get back to it at some point.
One a couple years ago? It was like the Outer Banks or the Outer Worlds or the Outer
the
Rim
Outer
or something.
Worlds.
I think it's
Outer
Yeah.
Worlds is a that's.
But isn't that just this? I mean, it's just. I guess you just can't fly in that, or is this more? It's just like it's a cross between No Man's Sky meets.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
It's
makes
No Man's
sense,
Sky
actually.
meets a Bethesda type RPG.
That's cool. Okay.
Outer Worlds was more like it was a AA game, so it's a little less budget, but it's more is made by the makers of Fallout New Vegas, right? And Obsidian, right? And
Which is interesting that they both made a space game. Actual
Yeah, I mean,
Bethesda and Obsidian. Like,
no,
they're
it's not
competing.
that Fallout maker. It's this Fallout maker. Like
The one that
great,
everybody
cool.
likes. Yeah,
but I
New
played
Vegas.
Outer Worlds, and that was a fun 60-hour campaign. It doesn't have a ton of content. It's only, you can't go to all these randomly generated planets like in Starfield. You just go to the set locations, and it's much, it's just a much smaller scale, but it's more about
curated.
the campaign and the story. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not this randomly generated bullshit.
No. Well, the way Starfield does its generation is interesting, because there's the campaign locations that you can go to that are very much built out, customly, and then there's the off the beaten track type planets where you go, and when you land there, they generate a plot of land essentially that is computer generated, and there's different dungeons and things like that. But you can just totally avoid that stuff and just do the main campaign and the side mission stuff, and that's easily 100 hours of gameplay right there. So
okay.
But there's a lot of complaints you can make with the game for sure. So I'm more destined to like it than a lot of people, just because I've been wanting a game like this for so long. Even if it's not perfect, I'll just accept it and just keep eating my slop,
Now, but do you think it's better than a game where a plumber turns into an elephant?
No,
and therefore not deserving of Game of the Year?
Yeah.
I don't think it should have been nominated for Game of the Year, because it promised a lot, and then it just kind of fell flat, and people are like, well, this is just more Bethesda. Like, if they actually like updated the engine and fixed a lot of the old Bethesda problems, then it would have been, I think, nominated for Game of the Year. But people are like, this is just, it's a really outdated engine. There's a lot of outdated bugs and stuff, and it's not great.
No. And they compare that with the Baldur's Gate 3 animations, and you know what I mean? It's like night and day. You don't want to be in the room. You don't want to be nominated to stand on the podium near Baldur's Gate. You don't even want to be invited to the party if you're Starfield. Like, you're going to get embarrassed.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of sad how much, obviously, Bethesda put their hopes into this game, and Todd is like, this is the greatest game we've ever seen.
Years of development, dog.
Yeah.
I think Todd Howard's a hack. Is that
they just need to do something different, because it's the formula is getting old.
One of the earliest episodes of this podcast we ever did, four of us together, going to Joe's place to record.
That's right.
In
was
person,
Fallout 76 just came out, and there were all those videos of like Todd Howard being like, it's gonna work. We're gonna love this. It's just exactly. It's just like, it immediately was like crash and burn. Like, this guy has swinging and missing for the past like 5 games he has made.
And I would
all
say
he has to do is release Skyrim everywhere. It makes me nervous about Elder Scrolls 6.
But Mike, that's the thing, is he can literally just go like, oh fuck, that didn't work. Okay, sell the rights to Skyrim to Tesla. And you're like, you motherfucker, make a new, better game.
Well,
yes, come on.
Yeah, you could argue it goes all the way back to Fallout 4. That game had a lot of hype. And I played that game and enjoyed it, but it could have been better. The campaign was not good.
Right.
And then, 76, awful game that I've played. It's like if you took a Fallout game and took all the NPCs out of it and just had people like reading paper that they find on the ground to get like story
writing
elements.
like dick butt and like food and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like great.
Engaging.
Yeah, and Starfield could have been a lot better. But
Yeah.
anyway,
What are you?
well,
Yeah.
so this is what I want to talk about. So I've put all these big games on hold. I'm going to come back to them at some point.
Mhm.
I've been doing what I call normie gaming or casual gaming. 99% of my time has been this, and it's just the most normie games you can imagine. Fortnite and sports games, Madden and NBA 2K, my two sports games that I play. And
undefeated franchises,
that's
multiple
right.
championships. Yeah.
Well, this is what I like to do in these games. So in Madden, I have this franchise that I've built, and I like to draft all the players, build the team, develop them, make trades, do all this stuff, and then I play every game. And I can't decide if that's like the most niche way to play a normie game or what, because it's like nobody I know like plays these games this way, where I'm like 15 years into this creative franchise.
Right.
It's the Cleveland Browns, of course, but
this is not 24. What Madden version is this?
This is Madden 21.
21.
Because there's no point in buying the new Madden.
Right.
No judgment here. No.
Yeah.
No, don't buy Madden.
And I know the mechanics.
Please do
one.
not.
I like to do the drafts. You scout the draft all year looking for hot players, and then you get your draft steals, and then you're developing players. You let the older ones go. You have to sign new contracts. You have to balance your salary cap and do all this stuff. And that's what I love to do. I feel like a NFL GM, and it's like the most fun thing in the world to me. So,
and a lot of those features are coming out. Like, I know people do like that. It's like there's a set of the Madden players that really like the GM mode and stuff, and like they're moving away from it.
Hardcore fan base, but most people play the online version where you can play different people. You have the card based system that's very loot box oriented
predatory
and stuff. And so people love to do that. I just like to have my own franchise. I play against the computer every game, and I beat them every game. I'm undefeated every year, and I love it. I win the Super Bowl every year.
Yes.
I've won 15.
Well, we don't get that in real
row.
life with the Browns, man. We're doing all right.
You gotta get that out.
And it's all it's all Madden generated players at this point, because it's
15 years
2035 in this world, and the first set of people that I drafted in 2022 have long since retired now. It's 14 years later or whatever, and most NFL careers don't last that long. So there's a lot of turnover, but I just love building the team each year, and that's what I like to do.
That's great.
I'll be honest with
the
you.
other teams have fake players too? Like all the other known players have retired now.
They'd have to, because you're drafting the future. Yeah,
pretty much everyone
like
except
Boberson.
Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and like a couple people are the only ones that are
babies.
Like 30
and they're like
years
40
old.
now right now. Yeah, like Aaron Rodgers.
Patrick Mahomes. All right, I got it. It's 2034. We had a great league.
He's in his he's in his Brady end of the career type of period.
But he can't win because the Browns are so dominant for the last 15 years.
That's actually funny, because the last 4 Super Bowls in a row I played against Patrick Mahomes, who's on the Washington football team, as it was known in 2021.
Of course.
So I just played
great.
I've beaten Mahomes in the Super Bowl 4 years in a row, and then I think he just retired last year.
It's the Biff Tannen future.
Yeah.
Like
that's pretty
parallel universe.
Well, let me know when Super Bowl 2077 happens. I'd like to watch that streamed.
That would be great. Yeah.
Well, hey, I don't care about any of that. I'm glad it gives you a sense of catharsis. That's
it's
great.
Totally a very nerdy niche thing to be into, and I can't really talk about it with anyone, but that's how I spend.
I'm glad.
I'm glad you enjoy
bring it to this podcast. You bury that deep down. What I do want to hear about is, give me these reactions to OG Fortnite and this reversion thing.
Interesting to me.
I'm super interested in hearing this. But Mike, did you get a chance to dip your toe into this at all? Have you
I did not dip into the Fortnite. I did a little bit of the Epic game Rocket Leaguing, but I didn't do any of the Fortnite original yet. So
again, as part of
to hear about it.
Part of my normie gaming, so I'm playing these sports games. I'm playing Fortnite, and I'm playing a little bit of Halo. And those games are like, whenever I have friends that play Halo, when they play, I'll play a little bit of Halo. I have friends that play Fortnite. I just like playing shooters. Any game where it's me against another human, and it's kill or be killed. I'm into those kind of games. So give me a target I can shoot at. So I've played.
You keep saying Fortnite. You against schools. No, terrible. Yeah. Stop.
Basically, I'm killing a bunch of 12-year-olds in Fortnite. Probably.
No. But that's the positive way to do it. Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, we condone that.
But yes, of course, Fortnite. the OG Fortnite, which is a month long, only for the month of November, thing that they're doing where they brought back the OG map from 2018, which I think starts in season 5 actually of Fortnite. So it's not technically the first season, but and then each week they go a season ahead. So it's like the first week was season 5, then season 6, season 7, season 8, which was that 2018-2019 period when it was really coming on popular. And no, we have some friends, of course, Matt and Manette, Joe that I play with. Shout out to them. And Matt, of course, is a huge Fortnite guy, and he was playing back in 2018 with his friends and stuff. So for him, it's very nostalgic and stuff. I did not get into Fortnite until much later. In fact, I only started playing it regularly at the beginning of this year. So I've played starting in January, basically, of this year. And I was enjoying the last couple seasons of Fortnite where I got the battle pass each time, and I was doing all my chores for experience and stuff and getting new skins. And I liked all that. But I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of the OG Fortnite.
I don't think anybody
this is a hot
is.
take.
I think
I don't know. It's been pretty popular. There's been a lot of people coming back to it.
We should note they just had their largest server day ever. Mike, I think they had 46 million active players. That has to be a record of some kind.
That has to be.
There's a lot of people who's like, I haven't played in years, but it's a good time to get back into it. Play some OG Fortnite. For me,
since you said it's progressing, is it getting closer to what you remember? I guess, are we like 3 weeks away? Okay.
I've pretty much only played when the gang has been on for a little multiplayer. But and I've not been solo playing this season because I'm just not as interested in it because it's slower. They took out a lot of the things that I like about Fortnite. The thing is, over time they've evolved and added all these new mechanics and stuff. But then they're like, we're going to go back to OG and we're going to take all that out and make it boring and slow again. That doesn't really interest me too much. They took out vehicles. They have golf carts, which were back in 2018, but it's not the same. They had cars and raptors that you could ride around on and stuff. They took out gold bars and taking out bounties on players and spending things on buying new weapons and stuff and capturing points. And there's all these systems that modern Fortnite has that they just took out. Yeah.
Unless you're nostalgic, then maybe it's not for you.
I appreciate the new old map, and I appreciate the more cartoony aesthetics that they originally had. And so there's some value in that. But to me, it's just a lot of running around, not seeing other players. I don't like the guns as much because they went back to the old school guns and stuff.
And it's not as many tie-ins. You can't get lightsabers or any things like that. But isn't lore-wise too? Wasn't there a character that Brie Larson played that sacrificed herself to blow up an island, and then The Rock, who I believe plays a character called The Foundation, that created the new island? How did we get here to the original island?
I don't know that much about Fortnite lore, if I'm being honest. Okay. I know there's a Rock character. Probably Matt and Manette would probably know a lot more.
I would love to hear it. I would love to hear.
Right.
Again, I only came in 2022, so I just know the last 3 chapters, which have been a lot of fun. Last season, they had the heist theme. Then they had the jungle theme. They had all these different themes. This year's theme, or this month's theme, is just OG, Return to 2018. And I think it's fun for some people, but at least it's only a month, and then we'll get a new season in December and probably a brand new map, because that's what they do now every year. They have 4 chapters in a map, and then they go to a new map, basically.
Brie Larson keeps sacrificing herself? That's terrible.
Yeah. It's the hero of time. She shows up in every iteration.
Right.
Interesting.
So basically, I've been normie gaming, Fortnite, sports games, Halo when my Halo friends want to play.
Right.
That's about it.
I don't think that's normie gaming. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Plus, a normie's not an insult on this podcast, so maybe it is.
No, yeah.
I don't think it's an insult. I just they're just very. I should start playing Call of Duty too. That's the other.
Oh, geez, don't do that. Kyler Murray's back in football. You got to watch out.
Right.
Yeah. I guess Armored Core. Best action game. It'll do it for my last update here. I played it a little bit. I think I'm at the boss of chapter 4. Very difficult. It's like the white robot from WALL-E, but it's evil. It's very fast and
hilarious.
and
You can't just sword it and then shoot.
well, the
some
meta
missiles at
has
it.
been 2-sword Zoro. You know, Roro Zoro from
Mm.
One Piece. It's 3 swords. So far, I can only get
Yes.
3, but I did
Put
find
one sword in your
another.
mouth.
Yeah, so I'm trying to eventually be 3-sword Zoro, but I just rush down and sword everything. That's my play style. I'm doing it with a flight stick still. I updated
Sure.
the cameras for the Twitch. I'll be doing it intermittently, but I have one more chapter to go.
Very
We'll see
cool.
how it goes. But anyway, it's difficult.
How do you
That's
think it
another
handles?
game I need to
You
pick
like
up at
the-
some point.
The
Yeah, me
sticks?
too.
I wonder
Yeah.
how easy it would be on a controller. I've not played a minute of it with the controller, so it's difficult, but it's fun with the flight stick and
What if you
throttle.
had a full
Wow.
simulation chamber? You know how some people
Incredible.
build those for
Mm-hmm.
truck
Incredible.
driving simulator or whatever.
Do it.
It was like those
Armored Core one.
arcade things where you could just have a whole thing that would like move you around and stuff while you're guiding it. That would be super fun.
Probably get whiplash, but that would be sick.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the, I'm glad we played Star Wars Squadron. Shout out to that because I had the
Yes.
hardware to do this, so I'm glad I'm
Right.
getting to use that again,
Yeah.
and not just buying it for no reason.
Jacob, you're thinking old school. It would just be a VR helmet.
Yeah,
True.
sure. Just a VR helmet and the sticks, and that's it.
Well,
You're
yeah,
good.
I guess does that have VR
It does
capabilities?
but it could.
It's coming. It's
Yeah.
coming.
But yeah, so Armored Core is cool. Definitely not game of the year, but definitely action game. And it's like Jacob's thing. It's like it's not for everyone. Starfield's not for everyone. It's for
Yeah.
him. Armored Core's not for everyone. It's for me. And
It's for
half of it
people
is
that
being
like
in the
that
menu.
kind of game and who have played the past Armored Cores and like mechs and that kind of thing.
And it's very much tinkering, like Colin was saying with Breath of the Wild, to bring it full circle. Like you'll encounter a challenge, like this build won't work. Maybe I need hover legs or something different. You're constantly
Yes.
like, okay, it's immune to rockets, so you have to kind of adjust to how your robot is built.
See, I
except
think-
unless you're 2-sword Zoro, then you just rushed everything down.
I think that's actually the problem with Starfield is that it was built to be like, oh, you can do all this tinkering, you can set up your mining outposts and all this stuff, but all of it's like ultimately pointless, and you can play the whole
Right.
game without doing any of that stuff, and it has no effect on the game. And the game is so easy that it's like none of this matters. Like you don't have to take any of these perks or anything because you can just shoot everyone in the head. It's like very easy. So that's kind of the
Meanwhile,
problem
in
with Starfield.
Tears of the
I guess.
Kingdom and
Yeah.
Armored Core, the gameplay loop is tinker to solve problem.
Oh, yeah.
In the
Right.
critical
It's
path. The critical path must be tinkered with, right?
So I wish
Instruction
Starfield made it-
manual of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I said
That's
on
what
the last
Starfield should make
episode.
it more
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And, I appreciated Zelda taking their combat sword franchise and taking combat out of it and making it a brain game. Like that's very smart.
Yeah.
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 So yeah.
Supposedly no DLC for them. That kind of bummed me out. That's what they just
Yeah.
announced, but we'll see.
That's the real tears of the gamers. Colin, I see a note here you have referencing this PlayStation 5R. Is there a
Well,
know,
I'll say
I'll
what it
throw it.
actually is. PS5R. I'll say no, Mike. It's in fact that I'm playing a new game. After Zelda, I said, "Oh, I'm done with this thing." And PS5, you say, I was like,
Ah.
"Oh, you know what? I should check out. I should play a PlayStation game after doing Nintendo." Nothing grabbed me. I truly thought, should I finish Elden Ring? I should. It's not gonna happen.
Spider-Man.
I should get Spider-Man 2, but I didn't play Miles, so then I feel like I'm
Right.
behind on that. So I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
and I
I
don't know
watched
the
Joe
story.
play a lot of Spider-Man, and that's enough for me. It looks great. No, Mike, and I'm sure you just guessed this. Instead, I picked up a game I'd bought a while ago and not just had the time for, but another big fat boy for the Nintendo Switch. I'm playing Persona 5 Royale.
That's right. I like to
Heavily
play that.
recommended from Get
Mhm.
Played, Jacob. And then you've played it as well, of course. So
Yeah, I
you
think I've
were
talked
sort
about
of
it on
talking about it a lot.
previous
I've
watches.
played it as well.
Yeah.
Also have not beaten
Guys,
it. It's one of the ones that's just stuck
well,
150
it's too
hours
long.
in.
I also
It's
just
too
stopped
much.
on that one.
Here's
yeah.
here's the primary thing I want to ask.
Yeah.
What were your romance options, boys? Who did you end up going towards?
I
In the
can't even.
spirit
I
of
didn't even
Baldur's
get
Gate,
that far where I even
Oh, wow.
made it to like starting a relationship yet.
The doctor lady.
Tai Takeme. Mike, you
god
made the right
doctor.
choice
Doctor
because, of
lady.
Yeah.
course, I
Yes.
also chose the hot god lady.
Yes,
The hot,
the god doctor.
older doctor lady.
It's
Oh, so
yeah.
you can also have an inappropriate relationship with your teacher,
With
Miss
your teacher.
Himawari,
Yep.
where you invite
Yes.
her over to dress up
She's
like
a maid. She
I do
cleans your
spam
house.
that quite a bit.
Yeah.
It gives you options. You can date older ladies
Yes.
that you shouldn't be as
Yeah.
a student. You can also date
Yep.
a younger student
Yes.
than you. It's very strange.
It's
But
very
That's well.
strange.
That's so to front load it with all that inappropriate stuff where you're like, oh, that sounds
Right.
like the pervious game ever. Obviously, that's why Colin's playing it. I'm playing it because, and it's the way it's been described to me by you guys and just hearing other, gamers in the world talk about it, is so one of a kind and singular. And for the fact that we are talking about how like Baldur's Gate, 3 can feel so much bigger and different, or we're at Armored Core 6. Like, it is all Alan Wake 2. It is all sequels and sequels and sequels. I understand that. But this takes the Final Fantasy route where, of course, none of these worlds are related to their other thing. We're literally about to get another video game, Persona 5 Tactica, which is set in the Persona 5 world, because almost like Final Fantasy 7, Mike, it's become like the most popular iteration. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
I love it. It's
just Japan.
But there's no gameplay like it, where it's a time waster simulator, to talk about playing normie games, Jake.
Time
management.
management.
You sit down,
life simulator.
it really is. It is to where you
am I
just
gonna
feel
go
like,
rent a video, or am I gonna eat some ramen?
and you're like, should I be wasting my time doing this? But when you get sucked into it and you go like, here's the mechanics of the game. I can choose what friend to hang out with. I can choose what activity to do. Do I want to study? Go to a batting cage? Do I want to, go to a club? Like all these things.
Yeah.
Do my laundry, do my homework, like, dude, like, and take quizzes at school, like these endless things.
Yeah.
Or I can progress the story, which is, of course, to unveil the inappropriate relationships a teacher has been having while molesting his students and physically abusing them, and I must steal his heart to change his wicked ways.
So
and you're like,
go into
what?
his mind palace and
force them to.
So what's the darkness in the background there? What was that molesting stuff you said? You're like, no, it involves a cute cat. You can choose like if you want to brew coffee sometimes. You're like, no, but what was that molesting stuff? Like, it is
right.
It is
very weird. Like the two modes is like, it's like slice of life sim, and then go into the mind palace of someone and like try to change their evil heart. It's like
one of your classmates recently tried to commit suicide. Unveil why that happened, and you're like, what, that's on me? Like, I have to discover that? I think I just started going to school here.
Yeah.
I'm a transfer. No, it is a crazy mix. You're right. But I do like, I like how Persona deals with like interesting themes. Like, and
I'm to all of it. I'm into, I have every spin-off game now, and I have pre-ordered the upcoming Tactica. You'll be getting updates on that. Obviously, I've got like 100 hours still into this one to play, and I'm looking so forward to it.
I should come back around to it. 150 hours. And also the UI. Shout out to good UI. Games have shit UI. They crush it.
Just original
aesthetically pleasing.
I mean, just like one where you, every time I put it on, and then like obviously a lot's been said about the music. I don't play video games with music on. I've said that a million times before.
Yeah.
I turn it up here because I'm like, there might be an anime cutscene. There might be some cool voice acting. There might just be this like jazzy beat that I just want to like hear in the background.
I listen to that soundtrack all the time just by itself because there's some songs that I really like on it. And the city song, like when you go back to your life, it's like, and it always starts up, right? At some point in the game, some vocals just happen in that game. Like
I've hit that point.
The game.
Yes.
Wait, there's vocals in this song?
Where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, great.
Yep. That'd be a good alarm sound.
Yes, that would be cool.
That's a vibe.
Yes, I love it. Very city pop vibes.
Yes.
And I just love that you can like change your costume and make yourself look super cool and super goth and edgy. And then I want to talk about the personas of it all. Where it has this Pokemon like aspect to it. But where you if you want to evolve your Pokemon, you go to this. Well, first you go to this dream world where there's this guy, and you're like, hey, take these two Pokemon and execute them.
There's some lollies. We'll put that out there.
Yes,
it is a very
prison guard lollies. Yeah.
There's everything from Japan in this game.
Yes, there 100% is. Yes. But then
essentially
Jacob, you're right. It is
to evolve your
torturous.
Pokemon, you murder two of them and combine them into like a new form, basically.
Well, in Persona 3, the way you transformed was shooting yourself in the head.
Oh my!
So
incredible.
Incredible stuff from the Persona series.
Wow.
Yeah, good stuff.
Meanwhile, you can make coffee while you're caretaker.
Make some curry.
Bullshit or
make
whatever.
some curry.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Incredible
Did
stuff.
you hear a bunch of your students are killing themselves? By the way,
Yeah.
This new coffee blend you tried is great. I'm so proud of you. I'm like, yeah, I am doing good at school. Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe I should be the one to take down the Yakuza single-handedly.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Wow. Again, great. We were joking about the dating aspects, but Baldur's Gate, greatest Western dating sim ever made. But Persona's probably the best RPG/social sim.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Great
good
games
stuff.
all around.
Yeah. Well, I have a
Should
good
we-
transition then. So there's one more category, but we'll go to the other side before we get into it. But the category I wanted to discuss was best adaptation of a video game into a live action series or animated. So let's go over to what we're watching, talk about that, and then we'll roll into everything else. Looking cool, Joker. Absolutely. Go to bed. I need that cat in my life when I'm playing Baldur's Gate to say go to bed.
Love.
I don't.
Love it. Love Morgana.
All right.
Mona. We're back here on Normies Like Us, doing a Whatcha. That was games. Now we talked, Mike, you just teased.
Yeah.
Video game adaptations.
Yeah. So
Live
this
action.
is a category or animated, I guess, for one of these. But yeah, I just want to discuss this because some of these we've watched and talked about on a Whatcha just to get your thoughts here. So 5 nominees, best adaptation are Castlevania Nocturne, Netflix, the animated new Castlevania. Gran Turismo, the PlayStation movie starring Hopper. Then we have The Last of Us, HBO Max, Super Mario Brothers, Chris Pratt, and Twisted Metal, which I really am happy to see Twisted Metal here.
Yes.
Of course.
Jacob,
I feel
what's
like
your thoughts on this?
it seems like there's 5 nominees. It seems like that's every video game adaptation that's come out last year.
I was about to say, they hit 4 and they're like, we need a 5th. We need a 5th. Oh, did you know Gran Turismo came out this year?
Yeah.
Right. Like, how bad do you have
the
to be
movie
to
based
not
on a
get
true
nominated?
story?
That we did as a publicity stunt on purpose? Yes.
But
Incredible.
I'm happy for Twisted Metal. Obviously, probably Mario will win, but
You think Mario will win? Really?
Or Last of Us, I guess.
I think The Last of Us is going to win.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
It's a better adaptation. Does Mario feel like playing Mario when you watch it? No.
Sure. But is it quality or popularity, Mike?
That's the now, well, again,
It was
money-wise, Mario,
very
but they're
popular.
both very popular.
Do we
They were
vote
both
for
popular.
these, or do critics vote for these?
You
I
can
guess.
sign
no
in and
idea.
vote.
We vote for that. Means Mario.
I
is
definitely
winning.
don't vote
Yeah.
for it.
Kids aren't logging in, though.
You personally do.
Yeah, every year.
I think Peter
I don't
Pascal's
know.
power will win.
He is daddy.
Here's
Yeah,
my
and
question.
Adults are going to log in.
Do you think that Uncharted, the year that it came out, was nominated in this category?
Oh,
No, I
God.
don't.
That's the cutoff. Is like,
Yeah.
you've got to be better than Uncharted.
So Gran Turismo's
they
probably
did that
alright.
thing. It's the opposite of when the Oscars widened to 10 after they didn't put Dark Knight up, where they were like, we really
Right.
blew it or whatever. It's the opposite where they're like, actually, because Uncharted's out, we're dropping it to 3 nominations.
Sure.
Yeah,
this year."
sorry.
That's funny. But I mean,
I like that. We
Gran
can in good
Turismo's got to
conscience.
be
Yeah, we can't.
a little better
Yeah.
than Uncharted, I guess.
I'll watch it when it's on streaming eventually.
Now, you say, Jacob, your winner is Oppenheimer because you love
Yes.
that video game.
I love
Yeah.
the classic SNES side
Minecraft.
scroller.
That you keep arguing
building.
Oppenheimer is an adaptation of Minecraft.
You
Well, he's
can,
building a bomb with atoms and
nuclear
stuff.
reactor.
Yeah.
you can get that
Exactly.
done in Minecraft. But yeah, interesting things. I think Twisted Metal was a surprise that we did like it, so check it out. But who knows?
We loved
Castlevania I
it.
haven't seen. You guys watch Castlevania at all?
I
Not the new
did
one.
for spooky season. I was kind of let down given how much I love those last 3 seasons. This is the spin-off Nocturne.
Richter Belmont.
Which
Richter
I like.
Belmont.
Rondo of Blood, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah,
Belmont.
Rondo of Blood, Rajon Rondo of Blood.
Symphony of the Night as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, new
Yeah.
setting, new time period kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
Looked
I watched
interesting.
the
I'll
first
catch up to it
episode. I'll
eventually.
come back to it. It's better than The Witcher season, so.
Notably
The
not
Witcher.
up.
That's not an
interesting.
adaptation.
Adaptation, yeah.
Hey,
That's
didn't
really
cut off.
sad. Yeah, you know
We
what?
found it.
Get down there, Geralt.
It
I
was
wonder
a
if they-
6. It was 6 nominees. They're like, we're cutting it to 5. They were-
Technically, they might consider that since that's an adaptation of the books, not the actual. Because the game
But
is an
visually,
adaptation.
it
of
looks a lot
the
like the
show
game,
also
but
goes
yeah.
to
That is
it.
very cyclical.
technically not
Yeah.
the game. Fair enough. All right. Well, that's nominees for best adaptation to get us transition. And what are we watching? Yeah, where do we want to kick it off? I defer to you two gentlemen.
I will throw it to Jacob because here's what I want to announce, Mike. I'll say this real quick. I was
Yes.
talking to Jacob about this. I have pretty much chopped away all of my streaming services. I am significantly trying to cut back on my viewing habits. I had a job that required me to very diligently watch a lot of content all day long, and I believe it has totally poisoned my brain, and I am no longer doing that. So I'm trying to have like a huge detox. Thank you. That's great. Outside of the things that maybe we're going to talk about next week, I truly have not been streaming too much. So I'm excited to hear what you guys have been up to. How about Jacob? You teased a mysterious show, and you've been saying it off on too. Now I'm hoping and praying this isn't you just forgetting and being like, it's The Wire or it's The Shield or whatever it is. Or I'm excited to hear. Yeah, what is it?
Well, should I lead with that, or should I talk about? I've seen a couple new release movies recently.
Tell me this secret thing. I want to hear this secret.
thing. It's not really a secret. I just wanted to reveal it on air to get your guys' questions because I thought it would be fun. I guess I don't know. I don't know how you'll even react to it, but
no,
essentially,
absolutely.
I've been looking for a new show to sort of binge watch or have on in the background during the day, and having watched every Star Trek that's like ever existed basically and finished with all the Star Treks. I was like,
where do you go?
What's like a long running sci-fi show that I could check into? So I was like, what could it be? I've seen like almost every sci-fi because I'm a sci-fi kind of guy.
You've done that Amazon one that you recommend, The Expanse. Yeah.
Love The Expanse. Love some Battlestar Galactica. Babylon 5 is pretty good.
You've seen Babylon 5. Wow.
Some of it. I never finished it, but it's an interesting one. But I'll tell you what, I've looked, I said, America, you're not doing it for me. Let me look across the seas to our European brothers and sisters on the island of the United Kingdom. I'm trying to see if you guys could guess where I'm heading.
I think I
Red Dwarf? Yeah.
Hey, nice. Good pull.
But I would argue that the show I'm watching now is the Star Trek of England, in a way. It's a long-running show.
Pip chaps, are you stepping out of a little police box perchance?
That's right. It's Doctor Who.
Now, I think I've famously said in a podcast many, many years ago on here that is something none of us fuck with because it's so like twee or whatever. We all agreed. We were like, that's weird. What a weird blind spot for all of us. So wow, dude.
I'll give you my history with it. And it's funny because I'm a little embarrassed to admit that I'm watching it.
I would hope.
But I think there's some good stuff in there. Like it's
sure.
It's a show that I did watch for a period of time when I was a teenager, probably from the ages of like 15 to 20 or whatever. But
like when your teacher is cleaning your house, as they do in Persona, that age.
That's right. Yeah,
of that age,
dressed as a maid. Yeah. But essentially, if you don't know the history of Doctor Who, this is a show that started airing in 1963. This is why I say it's like the English Star Trek. But if you think about all the different Star Treks combined, if it was just combined into one show that never stopped, well, it did stop for a period. So it ran from 63 to 89, its original run.
That's crazy.
Wow. Went off the air in 89 for a bit. They tried to get it going. There was a TV movie in the mid-90s that was sort of going to be a backdoor pilot for bringing it back. Didn't get the numbers they thought it would, so they didn't bring it back at that time. Eventually, they did bring it back in 2005, and it's been running ever since.
So, sorry. That just makes me think that joke in Community where they go to the Inspector Spacetime Convention and they go like, well, the American movie, and Luke Perry walks out and he's like, Inspector Spacetime.
Oh, sure, sorry. Inspector Spacetime from Community is sort of a take on Doctor Who. But no, this is a show that I watched from in 2005 to 2010, basically, and I enjoyed it at the time. As you know, there's been many different incarnations of the Doctor. So to explain, so basically, the Doctor Who, right, is a sort of an immortal alien known as a Time Lord who's sort of a god. And how they got around recasting, right, back in the 60s and stuff, they're like, well, this guy's getting too old, the first Doctor. Let's have him regenerate and basically
have him explode.
Right.
So every couple of years he regenerates and takes a new form, and that's the new actor that plays the Doctor. So there's been I think 14 different doctors now since the 60s. And if you just start in 2005, when it came back, that was the 9th Doctor. So you had Christopher Eccleston, 9th Doctor. Then you had David Tennant, my guy.
Yeah, I like
then
David
you had
Tennant.
Matt Smith,
Okay.
Peter Capaldi going to
All
a more
great.
old Doctor. Yeah. Here's my hot take. I like every incarnation of the Doctor, but we'll get there. So you had Matt Smith. Matt Smith, I was the most lukewarm on at the time. I've since gained a more of appreciation for Matt Smith because of Hot D, House of the Dragon.
Love when he rides that dragon.
Yeah. Peter Capaldi, like I said. Then you had Jodie Whittaker, the first female Doctor.
That's right.
Who just ended her run at the end of 2022. So it's now in a period of transition where, well, first David Tennant is coming back for a series of specials that's coming out next month, I think. And then they are transitioning to the new Doctor, which is Ncuti Gatwa from the Barbie movie and other things, who will be the first Black Doctor. So that's kind of exciting.
Hey,
that is cool.
Yeah.
And that shows Sex Education. Seems like a good actor.
Sex Education. And again, this is a show that I only really watched during the Eccleston and Tennant eras, which were the first two, the 9th and 10th Doctors. I like Christopher Eccleston a lot. He was there for one season.
Famously, fuck you, Doctor Who.
Yeah,
like,
I think he didn't want to be typecast. He left after one season.
Yeah,
has not had a good relationship with the people that make it ever since. Then David Tennant comes in. Yeah.
Yes.
David Tennant comes in, to a lot of people, the defining Doctor. And he's my guy. I love David Tennant.
Yes.
He's my Doctor.
Has maybe returned to the well too much, Jacob, would you maybe say?
Not really, because
he's so beloved. And he works. I mean, it's not like he's pigeonholed, but he this is like the 4th time where like the premise of the specials have been like, we got to get you what you love.
But
we got to give you David Tennant.
He came back during the Matt Smith era and stuff, but it's been a few years. So he's coming back along with Donna Noble, one of his companions, who played by that lady that was in The Office, Catherine Tate, I think is her name.
Oh, not Billie Piper.
No. Billie Piper was the first companion. Rose, she was great.
I'm all about Billie Piper.
She's great. Yeah, I also like Martha, the next one. But after the David Tennant era, originally, I kind of stopped watching. Once they transitioned to Matt Smith, I was like, who's this fucking guy? I don't like him.
Not my Doctor.
He's like he was too similar to David Tennant. Like they didn't do enough to he was just a more twee version of David Tennant.
Smarmy.
Yeah. So he's probably my least favorite Doctor, but I'm excited. So what I've been doing, I started in the 2005. I've been watching. I'm 3 seasons in now. I've only covered material that I've already seen so far, but it's been almost 20 years.
Yeah, with a critical look now. Oh, that's great. That's great.
Don't say
and
that.
It's all on Max.
Please
so
don't ever say that.
Right.
And it's wild. Sometimes actors will show up that I forgot were in it. Like I just watched an episode where Andrew Garfield shows up and he's like the 4th supporting role in one episode. Like,
heck yeah.
And Andrew Garfield, I feel like he's been around forever, but this was 2007. He really only broke out in 2010 with The Social Network and then Spider-Man a couple years later. But I was like, Andrew Garfield, what are you doing here, buddy? 4th supporting role. So that's fun. And it's a lot like Star Trek again, because a lot of the episodes, I feel like with a couple changes, could be a Star Trek storyline. Because they meet different alien races that have different customs and things. They either go forward in time or back in time and do historical episodes. I watched an episode on Halloween that was about fighting a werewolf in Victorian England, which was a lot of fun.
Okay,
I love that.
A holiday episode.
It's pretty well renowned for its right. I mean, it's the Sherlock guys those early seasons, right?
Yeah, it started with Russell T Davies was the showrunner, and then Stephen Moffat, who was a writer, took over as showrunner. He was also the creator of Sherlock. So that's the Matt Smith era. So Russell T Davies left after the Tennant era. Stephen Moffat took over. Another guy named Chris Chibnall eventually took over. They're all kind of from the same. They all kind of came up together in England writing these, shows and stuff. Sherlock, I'm not really a fan of, and that's kind of why I fell off from the Matt Smith era. The writing,
you don't like Doctor Strange and Bilbo?
Doctor Strange.
I like his actor.
What is his name from the Wakanda movies? I dare Martin you guys Freeman. To say it.
Oh,
What? Yeah, but
Agent
what is
Martin
his
Freeman.
agent? It is something you just saw him in Secret Invasion, Jacob.
wow. I don't
Couldn't
know.
tell you.
Everett Ross, of course.
Everett Ross. Jeez.
Wait.
Oh man.
Isn't it
Agent
Thunderbolt Ross or whatever? It's a different.
Oh,
You're thinking of the new Harrison Ford.
Oh wait, maybe they're related.
Oh,
I don't
no.
know. Is it Agent Everett Ross, Mike?
I'm looking it up.
Please tell me it isn't.
Everett Ross, you had it. Yes.
Wow, they are Ross to Ross. Okay.
All
Maybe
right.
they are related.
Maybe.
So yeah, I think the writing has been up and down over the years. And I think the writing was the strongest possibly during the David Tennant era. And right now I'm in the prime of that. So the first 2 seasons of David Tennant, I'm like loving it. There's some really strong episodes. I'm like, this is great, man. This is
Nice,
great.
man.
It's like a combination of Star Trek and another show I like, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where they have Monster of the Week type episodes and stuff like that. And there's a lot of like hidden darkness in it where it's like, it's very twee and charming and like cute a lot of times, but then it's also like the Doctor has like this hidden darkness to him because he's just this lonely god from space that lives forever, and everywhere he goes, like death and destruction kind of follows him, and he's just lonely, and it's really pretty interesting stuff.
It's
to
like
be honest,
an immortal vampire with a familiar kind of energy.
Yes. So he'll take on a companion or 2 at a time, but they always leave. And there's just some really tragic storylines where it's like this lonely god has to like suffer through existence alone, basically. It's the subtext of it. And then, the text is like,
Snyder
we're
plot.
fighting this giant spider monster or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
So it's a lot of fun. And I'm excited to get into the seasons that I haven't seen. And again, Nat Smith is growing on me a little bit. I'll have to see how his run. I like him better as Hot D guy, but then Peter Capaldi.
Like him better when he's having sex with his niece. Yes, no, we know.
Yeah.
right.
Peter Capaldi is an actor I like a lot. He's an older British actor, very fun. And he kind of plays more of a like sort of a snippy, aggressive, like older Doctor. And then you have Jodie Whittaker kind of split the fan base for probably obvious reasons too. For some.
Oh, I'm sure they'll react to Nkudi incredibly well.
Yeah. And Jodie Whittaker, unfortunately, from what I know, is that her seasons did not have great writing, and so a lot of people are like, it is unfortunate because she was a good Doctor. She just had bad writing during her era.
She bailed immediately, right? She was like, I'm
3
done.
seasons.
Okay,
and that's
so she
kind
did
of the
the
standard
contract. Okay.
It's you can stay as long as you want or as long as the studio wants you to, but
David Tennant bought a couple houses on the fact that they wanted him to stick around for a little while.
But he only lasted 3 seasons as the main Doctor. So
really,
Eccleston left after a year. David Tennant was there for 3 years. Matt Smith was there for 3 years. Peter Capaldi was there for 3 years. Jodie Whittaker has been there for 3 years. So that's been kind of the tradition now is 3 seasons.
3 years.
Yeah.
College life was people, girls putting up pictures of fucking David Tennant. It wasn't
that
longer
was the
than 3 years.
3 seasons.
God, but that's incredible.
Made an impact. Dang.
He fucking did, dude.
2006 to 2010 basically was his run, and then Matt Smith was like 2010 to 2014.
No. 2006 to 2023. He's still doing it.
He's coming back, but that's the thing is that
don't want to hear it.
He's the 10th and 14th Doctors now because it's a totally different numbering.
The twist is, why do I look like this again? That's funny.
I think so. Yeah,
that's cool. And then
it's a transition to
Okay.
I think Ncuti Gatwa, I think is how you pronounce his name. I pronounced it wrong in the Barbie. Ncuti, I think is how you say his first name. And that'll be interesting. And there's been, a lot of the actors went on to do bigger things. Of course, Karen Gillan was the primary companion for the Matt Smith Doctor.
Oh, right.
Pond. Yeah. So it's fun to see, these actors. And like in the one I was just watching, Gugu Mbatha Raw from Loki was in it. I'm like, wow, okay. So
Karen Gillan stars in Avengers, billion-dollar franchise, Guardians, billion-dollar franchise, and Jumanji, billion-dollar franchise. Would you say she's the biggest breakout from Doctor Who over David Tennant?
No. Well, in terms of No, because most of the doctors would go on to do like David Tennant. People know him. Matt Smith. People know him.
But
a
what's the biggest thing David Tennant's gone on to do outside of that? I would
Well, he
argue
was in Marvel too.
He was Purple Man. Yeah, I
he
would
was in
argue
Purple
that
Man.
was the
Whoa.
biggest.
Christopher Eccleston was the villain in Thor 2.
Yeah.
Matt Smith was in Morbius.
Hey,
They all done Marvel at some point.
Shut your
He's
mouth.
adjacent.
Shut your mouth. You dare ever say that again.
What was his character's name? Is Doctor Who? What was his name? Doctor something.
Yeah.
It was like vampire backwards.
Yeah.
They just called him like Toby or something or whatever Jared Leto called.
I didn't see it. Anyway.
Toby. Yeah.
Toby, you can't do it.
No, I think he took on the Morbius role because his friend Karen Gillan from his Doctor Who days was like, "You got to do one of these Marvels," and he just like signed the first one he saw, and it happened to be Morbius.
It's not the Sony one, not the Sony one.
You gotta read the contract, dude.
Oh man, I can just
I
hear
love
Jordan
David
now.
Tennant.
You're doing everything right, but the wrong way. Like you shouldn't have done that contract.
Well, that's one of those things where you can just imagine Aaron Taylor Johnson as this upcoming Craven being like, and I can't wait for my guy to cross over with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and everybody's like, yeah,
that's what they wanted.
Of course, that's what'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, David Tennant, that's my guy. You know, my main man. Every popularity poll for like Doctor Who, they do him every couple of years or whatever. He's either top or it's usually him or Tom Baker, the fourth Doctor, who was very famous in the 70s. He wore the long scarf and everything.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah,
is he still alive?
The fan favorite. I believe so, yeah.
Oh,
I think the first 3 Doctors are dead. I think he's like in his 80s now.
Oh, I would imagine. The one that you said ending her because he like turned 1,000.
Yeah, the first Doctor was like, in his 70s or something. So
and there is that myth where it's like they've lost like 200 of those like black and white episodes, right?
Yeah,
like,
so because the archival
Wow.
methods of this studio in England in the 60s was not great. There's a lot of
the method,
early
Jacob,
Doctor
it
Who
truly
episodes.
used to be tapes cost money. We're the BBC.
Yeah,
I don't
we
know
need to
who's ever
record
going to
over
watch
them.
this again. Yeah, re-record over episode 6, and we got to tape number 7, and then fans would be like, where's number 6? They're like, wait, we got rid of that 100 years ago. What are you talking about?
That's a fascinating. Like, who has a home recording? Like, how do they recover
There's
that?
legit,
media?
lost
That's wild.
media. There's like
there are people who
ton
keep
of
coming out
episodes.
and being like, we found these, we found that, it's a
That's
constantly
fascinating.
circulating thing. Or we
Even the
found the
scene of,
radio, so we'll animate it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the
Jeez.
first scene of him regenerating, going from the first Doctor to the second Doctor, is like that scene is only like you can see it on YouTube, but it's like recorded in a very bad quality. And it's like only that scene exists from that episode or something. So it's
interesting.
Well, maybe with
crazy.
AI, they can recreate this stuff.
Yeah. But it truly is an institution like Star Trek, where it's like, if you imagine every Star Trek show as one show, that were instead of a captain and a crew and all that, it's like one Doctor and his companion flying around, getting into adventures. Like it's very similar.
Yeah. Here's a
and-
question, Jacob. Has anybody been on both? Has there been a Star Trek actor that has been in
I'm sure
any
there
of these
has.
episodes you've seen?
This Jeffrey Combs has to have done one.
Jeffrey Combs has it. Yeah, do them all.
Yeah, I'm sure
Well-
there has to be. I mean, well, Simon Pegg in freaking the first season was in an
There you
episode,
go.
so there you go.
Boom.
He's in a Doctor Who episode?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
There's
that's
a ton
great.
of British, like it was kind of a British rite of passage for these up and coming actors. Like you got to do your Doctor Who, you got to be in Harry Potter at some point.
Right,
It's the two
right.
things
Oh,
you
how
gotta do.
about some of our great boys, New Zealanders? Would you get any like what is his name? Carl Urban, or how they pop up on like Xenia every once in a while too. I wonder if they cross the pond.
Probably, yeah. At some
Anthony
point.
Starr.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out for the next Doctor Who report.
But I'm enjoying a lot. I'm not saying you guys have to get into it, but
No,
it's
you got
on
like
Max.
400 more episodes to watch, and like,
And I
have
wanted
you
a
been
show
doing the
with a lot of long
Christmas
episodes.
specials?
Oh yeah, everything.
Okay.
Chronological
Wow.
order, starting with 2005
Wow.
Eccleston's season, and it's great. And there's a lot of stuff that I don't remember, so it's like seeing it again for the first time. But sometimes there's familiar things. Where like I do vaguely remember what this one's about. Really interesting going back and watching that.
Yeah.
My brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
My brother would throw on a Christmas one at Christmas every once in a while. And I do remember
Sure.
like a Matt Smith meets the actual Scrooge, and then I think he has to fight like vampires. I remember thinking
a lot
like
of the
this
episodes
is
are like
fun.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going back to William Shakespeare. We have to fight literal witches that are actually an alien species. That was
Great.
an episode. It's a lot of
Great.
fun. And yeah, I was gonna say something else. Yeah, the
Well,
Christmas
you're
these
thinking.
Christmas specials are a yearly kind of tradition for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also been watching the spin-off, or one of the spin-offs, which is called Torchwood, which I don't know if you ever heard about this, but it was during the David Tennant era when this was really popular. They're like, we need some spin-offs. Let's
Of
get Torchwood
Doctor
going.
Who.
Yes.
That's wild.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a Sarah Jane Adventures, which is like this old actress that was a companion in the 70s that came back, who played this, woman named Sarah Jane.
She went on adventures.
Yeah, she went on adventures. Torchwood is like the X-Files of Doctor Who, or like the Fringe, where it's like this, it's this special ops investigative alien.
Like Shield, Agents of Shield.
Exactly.
But for
so essentially,
Doctor Who
there's this
stuff.
character
Or
named
doctors.
Captain Jack Harkness that was on the first season that was popular. So they're like, let's give him his own spin-off. He joins this organization called Torchwood, which was created by Queen Victoria because of her run-in with the Doctor, where she's like, we need like an extraterrestrial special ops.
It's a human organization. Oh, that's
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's like
okay.
Agents of Shield. Yeah,
But it's like, it's like they don't answer to the police or anybody. Like they have their own power structure outside of the normal thing, and people don't know about them and stuff. They're super secret, and they investigate alien occurrences and stuff. And it was when it was being sort of made, it was known as the mature Doctor Who spinoff, because they can say fuck and they can show nudity and stuff like that. So it's like the
what
more
channel was
adult.
this on?
It was on, I think, BBC Two.
What the fuck?
BBC Two's wild over BBC One. That's great.
I guess there's certain things you can do on there that you can't do on the normal Doctor Who's. Like, let's have sex scenes, let's say fuck, let's do all this edgy stuff, and that's what it was kind of known for. I never watched it when it was on, so I'm watching that for the first time. Very interesting. And this 2000s media is so funny to go back, and because it doesn't seem like that long ago to us, because we were
so dated,
teenagers, but a lot of it does feel dated. Yeah, but it's so interesting, the nostalgia.
Wild. Damn. All right. Well, that's
seeing people use flip phones and stuff. Yeah,
but 5,000 more episodes. Good luck.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I just want to shout out. I just like Broadchurch with David Tennant and Jodie Whittaker, Olivia Colman. It's a great little series. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Jodie Whittaker was in that too?
Yeah. Yep. Jodie Whittaker is like the mother.
That's cool, because
Olivia Colman and David Tennant are doing mystery stuff.
So that has 2 Doctor Who's in it. I've never seen that.
That's why I love it. I think it was really good. And I think just shout out David Tennant and Olivia Colman's range, because like when you see the comedy stuff with Olivia Colman and then the drama that they're doing,
both of them. Olivia Colman is incredible. Yeah, Olivia Colman.
Yeah, she can do anything.
Oscar
Hot Fuzz,
winning actress who did not break out until later in her career. Right, she had a whole career where she was on Peep Show a lot.
But now everything she does,
Peep Show,
just get nominated for. Like she's just like a Streep level of like, just every year we'll put up Olivia Colman if she's got a new movie out.
It's just so funny the way some actors will have this career where like for 15 years they were just kind of on like comedy shows and stuff, and then all of a sudden they're an Oscar level actress. But
all three of them
great actress.
Are putting in great tape on that series. So check out Broadchurch. Not the
That's
American
awesome.
one.
I love David
Never
Tennant.
do that.
Not the American, not the Netflix one.
He's very tortured in it. If you like a tortured David Tennant, you're gonna love it.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I
very
loved him in
serious.
Jessica Jones. That was a very against type role for him to just be a straight evil guy. So yeah.
My dad watches Good Omens.
That's fun, and that's him and Martin Freeman, two mainstays.
No, Michael Sheen.
Oh, Michael Sheen. That's right.
Michael Sheen. Now,
correct.
Mike,
that's a 10.
How about an update on anything you're streaming before we jump into the new stuff Jacob's watching? That's not doctor oriented. Maybe
right.
I watch Doctor Sleep too.
Oh no.
Yeah. There really hasn't been much that I'm watching either. After the Spooktacular, watching 12 Fridays and 14 The Grudges. And
Can we get a One Piece check-in? You did your huge trip to Japan. Is that what you were streaming on the plane?
I was watching it on the plane. I'm still getting through Alabaster, which is like a pretty famous early-ish arc. And
that's great.
Speculation is that the next season of Netflix will probably do Alabaster.
I would imagine that's what it will end on. Yes.
So I'm excited to maybe finish that and see how far. My friend's favorite is Thriller Bark. I want to at least get that far, but we're gonna keep cruising. My Japanese is improved, so I can listen to it. I can second screen it better after the trip.
Hey, that's cool.
You know, so that's
great.
But other than that, yes, Sumimasen. Other than that, just I watched the first episode of Invincible. We kind of mentioned that last week on Gen V. I'm excited to see where that's going.
Well.
Did we do an episode on season 1? I'm just trying. We did. Maybe we'll wait for this to wrap up. I guess I should start. Was it a good comeback, Mike?
The first episode was good. Interesting premise.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way it started, you're like, wait, did I miss like a half of the season or something? But then it all makes sense eventually.
It's got a good hook.
Interesting.
And I guess the South Park Panderverse special was very entertaining to me. So
sure,
they get everybody. It was very good, very sharp, well written.
I haven't seen that.
I recommend
as they're known to do. Pay and spray, hit us all.
All I know is I agree with everything Cartman says in any episode. Whatever stance he has is the one I have.
Absolutely. That's who I am as a person.
100%. Yeah, especially this latest one would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all for me. I haven't seen anything new in theaters. Really haven't gotten out there, but yeah, I've been chilling. Baldur's Gate is all I do.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've been less gaming, more watching.
Yeah,
and you guys have been maybe more gaming.
Well,
less
Baldur's
watching.
Gate is like the best fantasy book you've ever read, but you're writing it. Like that's what I feel when I'm playing it. It's cool.
I do love my character.
That should be on the back of the box, Mike.
In Baldur's Gate. I think my character at Baldur's Gate should have his own spin-off.
That's great.
I think Hamfast Gardner should have a spin-off too. Anyway.
Wow.
But have you been watching anything new, Jacob? I know you have some.
I have, I had during October I was all spooky movies. Wanted to make it to theaters to watch either Exorcist Believer or Saw 10 or Saw X just to say I could.
Sex.
Yeah.
No, you made it to your couch to watch Freddy scare us all for 5 nights.
True.
That counts,
yeah.
Jake.
That counts.
Oh, I watched Sinister on Halloween Day. That wasn't on the podcast,
dope.
so you know.
That's awesome. Again, Saw X, we know the DP, or at least some of us do, right? Director of photography. But I didn't make it to the theater for those, so it's been a while.
Shout him out. Shout out Nick Matthews.
Nick Matthews, yes, great work. Well, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm assuming it's great.
Well, let's just say,
best Saw movie ever. But I had not been in the theater since Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the last movie I saw in theaters until the last weekend. I was like, I'm gonna go see a movie. I'm gonna go see the Marvels.
Wow.
The new MCU. I love the MCU.
That's right.
Well, I was considering I want to see Killers of the Flower Moon, the new Martin Scorsese. I was like, do I want to sit in the theater for 3.5 hours or for an hour and 45 minutes?
Yeah.
So I chose the Marvels, which is like 2 hours shorter than Killers of the Flower Moon.
Well, we're going to be talking some Marvel stuff, not necessarily Marvels. So maybe we'll hold on to that content for another time. But how was your return to cinema? I'm very jealous of that. It's been a minute for me as well.
It was great. I like going to the theater, see movies. I know sometimes bad experiences, but I still just like going to see a movie in the theaters. There's nothing better,
Was it packed?
It was, I'm sorry to say, for a Saturday night
based on that box office. Oh no!
Weekend, it was like half full theater at best. So not
that's
great.
All right.
Not great. But I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was, fun enough. Like I feel like I have the same review of every new MCU movie, other than certain standouts like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But to me, they're all just okay. But we'll talk about that more next week, probably.
Right.
I also saw The Killer on Netflix, the new David Fincher picture. That was fun. I know, Colin, you saw that too. You didn't like it.
I saw it as well.
Me.
I did not. I was pretty turned off. $175 million budget, Jacob. Where'd that money go? Where'd that money go, my friend?
That's a lot of money.
That's
when
a
David
lot
Fincher,
of money.
He did say, like, oh, you know what? Netflix, they're the best. They're the best to work with right now in the business, is what he said. So
he gets paid a lot of money to say that.
They gave Martin Scorsese a lot of money to make The Irishman. So they're just throwing money at these people. Hey, I'll take it.
And I know we bring this up every time, but just literally because you said it, I want to refresh this in listeners' minds because I think it's the most culturally interesting fact ever. The fact that Netflix said before this whole thing started, what we will call the streaming wars, like Marvel presents the Secret Wars. We lived through the streaming wars, unfortunately.
Yes.
The kickoff to it was Netflix saying, we need to make an original program. The things people rent are political thrillers, Kevin Spacey movies, and David Fincher movies. And they combined that together and made the original TV show. What's that called? President. I was going to call it President House.
President of the Dead.
House. Yeah.
President of the Dead.
House of Cards. And then they made
Card Counter.
Mindhunter, of course, with David Fincher.
So, and he's made Mank, and so obviously his relationship, Jacob, is very much, I'm the in-house resident artist of Netflix. And his quote is like, streaming is the future. Netflix is the greatest in the game. Obviously, we need this. And you have like Martin Scorsese in the streets, like getting shot in the gut by companies. Be like, no, please release my movies in theaters still.
But I think
Fincher, knock it off.
Scorsese, I think he did get paid a lot to make The Irishman. Maybe didn't love working with Netflix because he wanted that to be in theaters. But then he got, Apple TV or whatever paid him $200 million to make Killers of the Flower Moon. It got a theater release, and I wanted to go see it.
And we should say The Killer got a theatrical release.
Yes. Smaller opening, but
much smaller.
But also you can just see it on Netflix. But I don't think it was a concurrent release, so they did have it like a couple weeks in theaters before it came out on Netflix. So I
believe
that.
1 week prior.
Yeah. But with Killers of the Flower Moon, I've been meaning to see this. I do think it looks really good from the trailer and everything. I'm very interested in it. Again, I was just like, I have to take a bathroom break during an hour and a half movie. I'm not going to make it 3.5 hours. I can just wait for it for streaming, and I'll catch up on it. Love the Irishman. Love everything Scorsese's done in the past, several years. So looking forward.
Well, you
got to
watch it on streaming because otherwise you'll be streaming. That's your problem.
That's right.
That's the real
I always like to
streaming.
get a big soda at the theater, so that does not help either.
That definitely does not help.
The Killer. I'll tell you this. I think some people maybe don't understand that The Killer is sort of a satire of these kind of hitman type movies. It's basically about a guy who thinks he's John Wick, but then is just like constantly fucking up and like making things worse.
It's about if a guy now watched The Taxi Driver, is my opinion. Mike, are you going to watch this thing, or can I say something?
Have you heard about it?
Can I ask a question?
I think
Jacob?
it's fair to ask. I mean,
okay.
I'm and listeners earmuffs, I guess, but yeah, I'm okay.
No, it's not even a spoiler thing. There's this take going around that the film is the greatest admission of the difficult process of making a movie, and in particular a David Fincher movie, which is meticulous. He does 500 takes. Everything has to be made. Jacob, where are people drawing that from? Do you see that in this film?
I think there's some self-reflection. It's sort of the year of directors making self-reflective movies. With Wes Anderson with Asteroid City. I'm trying to think of there's some other examples.
William Scorsese kind of reckoning with the violence, right?
Yeah. Well, that and Irishman are both kind of him at the end of his life, kind of looking. Why did I do this? Am
I going to get into heaven? Like, it truly is. You can see he's so desperate. Please, Catholicism, let me in.
Yeah. And Killers of the Flower Moon, I mean, the hook of that just like it's the bloody history of this country, and there's been so many examples of
it's
that.
Not just him. It's us.
Right.
Yeah, but it's the story of America. But The Killer is it's David Fincher saying he's this perfectionist, but then also he fucks up a lot, I guess. And I feel like the lesson of that is like, because the whole time he's repeating this narrative to himself, right? There's this
never improvise.
Voiceover,
I can't remember it, but it's this whole speech, Mike.
His mantra,
right?
He has.
Mantra. Okay.
The whole hook of it is that for the first 20 minutes of this movie, you're just seeing this guy's routine as he waits to shoot someone with a sniper, right, in this building. He's got this whole routine. He's like very zen about it, and then when the moment comes, he fucks up and doesn't shoot the guy, and that's the big hook of it. And then everything that happens after him trying to fix that scenario basically
is the domino of repetitious fuck ups, essentially. Just fuck up after fuck up.
And how many other people he has to kill because he failed to kill that one person. Basically, he's a hitman. If I didn't explain that well,
I'd say he's a killer.
He's a killer. Yeah. But the funny thing for me is that I think David Fincher has to be a fan of the Hitman games. Are you guys familiar with the Hitman games?
Yeah,
the newer versions?
Sure. I've got a barcode on the back of my head if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
I swear to God, the chapter titles in this movie, it's like separated into chapters, right? They come up on screen. The font is exactly the same as the Hitman games. And like the way it's just so much in this movie that I'm like, David Fincher's played the Hitman games and decided to make a movie about it, but
That's
didn't buy
funny.
the IP or anything. Yeah.
Weird.
Right. Couldn't get the
So
license.
check
for
that out. Michael
Hitman.
Fassbender. You know what? I thought it was a fun movie, not life-changing or anything, but I enjoyed it.
$175 million. I want
That's
you
a
to
lot. I didn't
really
realize
think
that.
about how big that figure is.
Definitely does not feel like it.
That's a Marvel
had that high
movie
of a
to put that
budget.
into like that.
Yeah.
That is a film that ends with a laser blowing up a city.
Yeah.
Just so everybody understands that in context.
Damn.
The killer is, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and then Mindhunter, like it was a cult hit, got 2 seasons. People were like, "Where's the 3rd season? Where's the 3rd season?" He basically said, like, "Look, we can't do a 3rd season. It's too expensive, and not enough people are watching. It was a cult hit, not a hit. You know what I mean? So we're never going to get a 3rd season of Mindhunter.
Netflix foots the bill for this other stuff. I don't understand that at all. They will let you pay to make a film that your dad wrote before he died about the screenwriter of Citizen Kane.
Mank.
That has mass appeal.
Apparently.
Wow.
I feel like a lot of this is just to get sort of prestige awards type movies and
Cachet,
to get people
it's credit.
Yeah, because if your movie gets nominated for an Oscar, then you can be like, "Look, Netflix, we produced this Oscar-winning movie. Come check out our other stuff on Netflix." But so much of this is what I don't get about the streaming economy. They're just throwing money at these filmmakers just to try to get more eyes on their streaming service. That's what it's all about, right?
What? Jacob, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah.
The strike has wrapped up. We should say congratulations.
Yes,
to
congratulations.
that. Congratulations to
agreement.
that.
Yes.
We're proud of everybody. You got your money.
Yes, way to stick it
The
out.
thing that I don't understand about these fucking studios, I'm not even going to talk about the Coyote versus Acme thing, because that I will truly put a gun to my head and blow my brains out if I
David
think about that
Zaslav,
stuff.
you will not see heaven.
Whatever. But when you say those things where you're like, yeah, the big hope is one of these streamers, gets a hit or whatever. The films last year that were up for the big awards were not on streaming. It was Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it was The Whale, which were both from A24. And they swept every Academy Award last year. Every Academy Award. Streamers got nothing.
Yeah.
But even just to get nominated, like The Irishman, you can say like that was nominated. I guess that's what matters to them. I don't know. I mean, I'm all for giving these great directors like Martin Scorsese as much money as they want to make good movies.
It's
like
insane. It's insane.
I don't care. If
I'm
they
not
make
against
money.
it.
I'm not.
I'd rather-
It's not our money. Yeah, there's no. I
If I
understand.
get a good
But then-
movie out of it that I can watch, then I'm happy.
But when Mank comes out and it's that, and then when The Killer costs $175 million, and then Netflix goes, hey, by the way, bump it up to $25 a month or whatever, it's like, hey, well, okay, maybe I do need to start having a say in this. Maybe you need to start dialing it.
It is interesting. But then they have, they have their Stranger Things, their Mike Flanagan series and stuff.
They don't
have
him
other.
Anymore. He's gone.
Flanagan?
We did
He's at Amazon.
Follow the Usher.
Wow.
He's gone. That's it. He didn't even want to talk about it. He didn't even want to talk about it.
Okay.
They wanted to do another season of Midnight Club. I don't know.
Jeez.
And then you have the Marvels lowest opening weekend for an MCU movie ever. Not deserved, I don't think. It's not the worst MCU movie. I'll tell you that right now. It's not even the top 5 worst MCU movies, and it's the only one that opened during a strike. So the actors were not able to promote it. So I think that has to be included in the context of it being such a box office bomb, unfortunately.
And like there's a little bit of prerequisite to maybe have watched Miss Marvel on stream. Like there's homework to be done.
Yeah, but I don't even...
You can't just walk into it.
Having seen it, and I didn't watch Miss Marvel, and I don't think I missed anything really. So I don't think you do need to watch Miss Marvel, because it's all explained to you in the movie. So we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll talk
maybe some
about
other
it
time traveling shenanigans, and I'm not talking Doctor Who.
I'm just gonna keep it low key for now. You know what I mean?
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's what we've been watching. Is there anything added up there?
Anything else?
No, I think we're all right. We'll probably roll on over to wrapping up any other issues on the end of this thing. Yeah. Get you over there.
We're back here on Normies Like Us. We're talking Whatcha, because it's episode 270. Oh my god.
We did it. The 27th.
Quick, Jacob, name episode 63 right now, off the top of your head.
Oh, Uncharted.
Nope.
Uncharted. an episode we did in the past 10, I would say. So yeah, you're right.
Wait, you
You're
said?
right.
Oh, I thought you said 263.
Oh, fair.
63. It's the next generation.
Oh,
Wow, that's cool.
You should remember that, Jacob.
Probably
Was I
our
on that
first
episode?
Star Trek episode ever. You might have been the guest.
I was
That was
not
probably
on
the
a
one
lot
where
of the
we
early episodes,
determined that
right?
Colin didn't like Star Trek.
And I will never watch it, and
And
I'll
you are
certainly
not,
never buy a
Jacob.
shirt.
That's right.
Nope. Interesting.
Lower
Yeah, that was
decks.
before my Trek fandom started. So that's how long we've been doing this.
Or you were a normie.
Wow.
You were very niche when we met you.
That's
Then
right.
you
Now you're
became
in.
very normie. You started playing football and basketball games.
And 263
That's
was
right.
Ahsoka, so there we go.
Wow.
Wow.
Ahsoka.
Yeah.
All I want to know is when the
remember
Bloodborne
talking
episode.
about that show.
When I was clicking through, I'm like, wow, we did do this. Like, there's
Wild.
there's a lot that we've done. Yeah, I have 19 pages worth of episodes on the old podcast dashboard. We did Detective
That's right.
Pikachu.
Well,
We've been doing
Oh.
video episodes for more than 2 years now. Started on
Yep.
I think our first one was WandaVision.
That's
like
right.
Really?
that in time.
So like
for it,
over
yeah.
100 videos, you think?
Probably.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang, that's wild.
That
Look at
is
us.
wild.
Look
Check
at
it out
us.
Okay,
on
so-
YouTube.com.
While we're feeling a little nostalgic, I'm going to
Yeah.
throw it out and say we're going to start to try, or at least I'm going to start to try to do some, I don't know, games or gimmicks. We've obviously got the incredible Cobb quizzes whenever we do sort of
Mhm.
our more long form viewing stuff. But on
Yeah.
these Whatchas, since we're getting close to 300, I'm
I
going to
love
come
it.
up with, something that we can
Love
sort of
it.
do at our last little segment here.
I love a segment. Yeah.
Me
So
too.
I had this segment for the Spooktacular, but unfortunately we ran out of time on that one because we were really going and going. So we
Yes.
adjusted it. We moved it to here. So we're going to play a game. Now, the premise of this game is it's not necessarily you guys against each other. In fact, I'm going to ask for participation from the other person as well while one of you is
Interesting.
playing.
Okay.
But this game is called What Do You Do? What do you do?
What do you
Do
do?
do do do. What do you do? Maybe a little sting of music there, Mike. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah,
What do you
okay.
do? What do you do?
What do I do?
Now, here's what we're going to talk about.
What you doing?
I'm going to present to you guys some scenarios from horror films we have covered in previous episodes. So, not necessarily just the ones we did this year. It's going to be from ones we did all over from our previous spectaculars as well.
Okay.
Now, what I want you to do first is identify what the scenario is from based on sort of the loose example that I'm giving you, okay?
Okay.
And then from there, I want you guys to talk about survivability. We laugh in these horror movies about, oh, well, they do that stupid thing. I could obviously get away. Okay, put your money where your mouth is. What do
Okay.
you do? I want to hear, how do you get away?
Okay.
Now, I'll say, probably it's going to be closer to me awarding you a point the more descriptive you are.
Okay.
As you select a number here, I have 10 scenarios. So you can, as you
Wow.
go through here, we don't have to do all of them, but if we
Right.
could do 5 and 5, I guess, for each of you. We'll go through and we'll go through each scenario. Now, I'm not going to fully award the point until I feel like you're going to survive. If you're just sort of hitting me with a flimsy, like, I don't know, I just run out the door. Well, we know that's not how you get away in a horror movie. I want to really hear some details. So keep that in mind too. And the
Okay.
other
I can
person as
survive
well,
anything.
I'm going to, but I'm going to go to the other person and say, hey, do we think he survived? So other participant, please listen as well and poke some holes in there too.
Okay.
Now, here's my example. So if you picked a number and I said, so let's say you picked a 0, I would say scenario 0. You just finished watching a very strange videotape and your roommate wanted you to watch after they saw it earlier in the week when a phone suddenly rings. You pick it up, a voice whispers, 7 days. And suddenly you hear your roommate scream bloody murder from their bedroom. What do you do? Now,
Oh,
in that
man.
instance, I would say, what was that scenario from? You guys would say,
The
or one of you
Ring.
would say,
The
The
Grudge.
Ring. And then let's walk it through. Not The Grudge.
Yeah,
It was
not The
Ringu.
Sadako versus Kayako.
So, and like we said, less holes we can poke in it, the better. So again, 1 through 10 here. I just pick amongst yourselves. Who wants to go first here?
I'll go first. I don't mind.
Okay. Hit me,
wish I
Mike.
had
Pick a number
D10.
here.
I'll say 3. I like the number 3.
Starting with 3. Okay, so I'm going to read the scenario to you. You're going to tell me what it's from, and then Jacob and I are going to listen to your how you get out of this, and then we're going to poke some holes, or maybe you're just going to let us know, and it's going to be great.
Okay.
So, Mike, scenario 3. You are an astronaut having the time of your life. You love living in Washington, and all the press from the upcoming space mission has turned you into a minor celebrity, getting you invited to a big Hollywood party. While chatting it up with a hot new actress and singing along with her to a song, her daughter suddenly comes down the stairs. She stops the entire party, locks eyes with you, and in front of everyone says, "You're gonna die up there," and starts to pee all over the floor. What film is that from, and what do you do, Mike?
This is from The Exorcist.
I didn't know there was an astronaut in that movie.
Yeah, and what?
Because I never realized that part of it.
Well, they're all doing the socialite party. There's a guy playing piano, and the other guy's being bigoted or whatever.
A little girl just told you if you go to space, you are going to die. What do you do?
Well, the logic of me being an astronaut would be like this. I'm a man of science. So I'd probably not put much heed into her words. You'd think an astronaut would just go anyway and just be like, "This is bullshit." But knowing Pazuzu, it probably is not.
If you went that route, maybe let's say a couple days later, you hear that the director at that party mysteriously died. You hear that mother is having a panic attack. Maybe that daughter who told you die up there has been institutionalized recently. Is that sort of changing your mind a little?
A priest threw himself out the window and broke his own neck. Yeah. At that point, you might start to survive, it seems like you just don't go to space. You just you call
into NASA and say, "I just can't do it.
I got a bad feeling about this. Maybe we need to double check all the rockets and stuff. I don't know. Maybe let's just be sure we get it right and postpone, even at the risk of career. I mean, that's the only thing you could do if you are really worried about it. Just don't go."
See, I know I would die in that scenario because I take heed and listen to that. I would just go anyway because I'd be like,
I think a real person would just go, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
to survive,
I think so.
Stay grounded. Yeah.
But I accept your answer. That totally counts. I don't know what you would say. I guess you would say I got a cold or something, just like fake illness.
Or
it's
just
like Final Destination.
I'm just not feeling it. Like something's not right.
Yeah.
I can't do this mission. You can find somebody else, but it's not going to be me. Even at the risk of my career and my minor celebritydom, you would have to just throw it all away for your life. It's worth it, right?
All right. That means Lieutenant Mike has survived Pazuzu. Congratulations.
And never gets to achieve his dream of going to space, but he lives to see another day.
I'm a die
now,
there.
Jacob, it's up to you. Pick a number here. Anything except 3, 1 through 10.
7.
7. Going to list off the scenario 7. You're going to tell me what it is. Oh, this is a good one. Jacob, you wake up to another day of the same old life in a hole. You think about how you got there and how you shouldn't have helped that guy move that couch into his van. Now you're stuck in a hole in the ground starving, and on top of that, he keeps asking you to put lotion on. Your kidnapper lowers the basket once more for another lotion session. What do you do? What is this from, and what do you do?
I would probably kidnap his dog and try to hold it hostage in a way to try to get let out somehow.
What is this from?
And what is this from?
Oh, this of course is from the great movie Red Dragon, I think it was called.
No, Silence of the Lambs.
Just kidding. It was Silence of the Lambs. I know. But yeah, I would get.
You would do what she does.
Dog.
You would grab Precious.
Yeah, I think she handled that situation about as well as you could. First of all, why would he want to capture me in the first place? I guess he saw my luxuriously smooth skin. It was like, I need that.
I gotta get that Jacob suit.
Yeah.
I think that works. I guess the only wild card is if Clarice does not show up. Do you think you could get out of there by yourself without the aid of the FBI breaking in?
Probably not. I mean,
that's a pretty dire
if I was
situation.
in a hole, I would try to climb up, but if I couldn't climb the walls, I would probably just give up and accept that I'm going to die because I don't know what else I would do.
Jeez.
So 2 for 2, your solution is die. You said you would die with the Exorcist one. You said you would die in this one.
Honestly, I feel like if it was in a lot of horror movies, I probably wouldn't make it just because I'm like, man, I give up. Just fucking kill me.
I love it.
Yeah.
That one is tricky though, because it's like it relies upon having the leverage of Precious. Without that,
Pull
there's
the rope
nothing.
hard, maybe. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
as
Try
they're
to
lowering it
overpower him.
down.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
But
Maybe
even
they
then,
fall, break their neck.
But then how
Yeah.
do you climb out still?
And and from being down in the hole, there's like fingernails in the wall. Like people have tried to claw out and it's
Right.
not working.
Well, I guess number one
Yeah.
is this set in modern times, or is this the Silence of the Lambs in 1990 or whatever?
Maybe you've
Because
got
if
a
I have a
cell phone on
cell
you,
phone, yeah,
that he
that
didn't
changes
find or
things, right?
something.
Yeah.
Right.
If I have
Or
cell
they have
service
one.
down there. Yeah.
If you pull them in, then you could use a bone to, make a tool to start scratching handholds into the wall. At least if you had a femur or
Right.
something, then you could make a tool. So if you pull them in, that's where you go. But anyway,
You could do
Right,
like
Jacob.
Zorro and
Oh no, he's dying in that hole too.
Yeah.
He also got trapped. Jacob,
Yeah.
I will accept that you have gotten away from Buffalo Bill. You have you have taken Precious and escaped from
Kill your
Silence
dog,
of the Lambs.
mister. I'll kill your dog.
I'll do it, mister. Mike, it is to you. Anything except 3 or 7, 1 through 10.
I'll do 4, the other scariest number.
There we go. And I should say, I hope listeners are playing along at home, not only guessing these scenarios, but coming up with what would you do. I would love to hear that right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mike, scenario 4. You're watching a party. Everyone is watching horror movies at this party. They're discussing horror movies. And in fact, nothing seems more important in the world to these kids and teenagers than horror movies. Certainly much more important than the masked killer attacking the other kids at their school. But hey, you're a cameraman hired to record these kids for the news. Hopefully you won't get caught in the crosshairs. Now, while you're watching them, you notice someone in a shady costume headed into the party of vulnerable teens. What do you do, Mike? What scenario is this, and what do you do?
So this is from Scream, and this is Gail Weathers' cameraman, who unfortunately doesn't make it because of the delay.
Correct.
If you were able to see someone sketchy going in, you're covering murders. I would think you would interfere. You would at least raise an alarm. Hey, there's some unknown person in your party. But yeah,
you wouldn't, if you saw someone going into a Halloween party or a party around Halloween in a costume, you wouldn't think anything weird about it, most likely.
What is suspicious? Yeah.
Do they know what Ghostface looks like doing the killings, I guess, at that point? I don't think any of the adults do. I don't think they could identify him by costume.
No, because there's no eyewitnesses.
Yes.
Everyone's been killed at this point. So,
Yeah, like even if you were in the world of Michael Myers and you saw someone dressed as Michael Myers during Halloween, you'd be like, well, that's just a Halloween costume. That's just a guy of it all, right?
Yeah. And the teens party, and you also have a job. You're on the clock. It's like, I can't leave the van. We got the batteries. That's really tough. Yeah. I guess if once you're filming and you see the thing, it was the delay that got him, right?
Yes.
So you would
think about that too.
Be cognizant that there's a delay, but then at that point it's already too late. Like you see, so I don't know. That's a tough one to win.
No cell phone. You can't call the cops, Mike. It's 1994, 5, 6.
Yeah. Once it started getting shady, I'd care less about the camera. I would care less about getting the shot. I think that's the key.
I'd probably just run away once shit started going down.
I think I'd just drive away.
I think that's it. Yeah, you can't. It's not worth it. You're not going to get a.
Because you can't warn. How do you warn the teens? I guess truly, with no cell phone, you're watching footage of them. You're not there,
right? Yeah. You honk the horn or something. Like it's all you can do.
That's good. I would accept that. Truly, if you just started blaring on that thing, that would at least get those teens to be like, "Hey, shut up out there!" At least get up and investigate.
And it would throw off, Ghostface's little plot because there's 2 of them working together in this. So you get some horns, it kind of throws off their element of control that they're establishing, I guess. So yeah,
I love that, Mike.
All right.
Mike, the Woodsboro killer, Ghostface himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's not getting you. You're evading him. Good work, dog.
Thank God. I get my news Emmy too.
Yes, you write your Gale Weathers style book.
They turn the cameras on me. How I save the day. Yeah.
All right, so we got basically half left. So Jacob, anything that's not 3, 4, or 7.
I'll say
1 through 10.
6, the other scariest number.
6. Because
the number is the devil.
This is the scary one, I should
It's the
say.
13th today on record. It is a spooky
Oh
day.
boy. All right, Jacob, you are driving through the heart of the South with your friends in a van when you stop to pick up a hitchhiker. Things take a sour turn when he takes your picture and you refuse to pay him. He has marked your car with some kind of strange hillbilly symbol. And the gas station you stop at, they say they're empty. They ain't got no gas. But a house up the hill has gas-powered generators. You make your way to that house, knock on that door, and a man answering the door has another man's face on his face. What is this from, and what do you do?
Well, that's from the Texas Massacre of Chainsaws.
Yeehaw!
Teenage Mutant Texas Chainsaws, yeah.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Well, in that scenario, first of all, I would not be picking up no hitchhiker in the deep south.
Yeah.
We're not stopping for gas. We're not picking up hitchhikers.
Maybe things were different in the 70s, but I would probably, if I saw like some creepy guy on the side of the road in the deep south or wherever I am in Texas, I'm not stopping. No, I'm like, sorry, buddy, I don't pick up hitchhikers. I'm not trying to die today.
Yeah,
so
that's
It's not even happening. You're not even getting into this scenario.
No. Now, maybe the gas thing would be a problem because obviously you do need gas. And if I ran out of gas and then the gas station didn't have any, well, then maybe, now I am driving up to that house and now I am fucked.
I think the farthest I ever get is if the gas station tells me they don't have gas, I'm going, well, I guess nobody's got gas.
Yeah, I wouldn't assume that a house would just have gas.
I mean, really, like if you're out of gas in the middle of nowhere, the gas station says we don't have it, but the truck will be here tomorrow. I would just stay with my group, sleep in the van, and just wait till tomorrow. Sorry, we're going to be a day late, right? I don't know.
Call AAA or something.
Yeah, did they have a phone out there? Did they even ask if you had a phone?
Yeah, and what is this, 1974, Mike? 1973?
She does go try to use the phone, right? And then
that's why they go to the door. I believe so, yeah.
Oh,
and the people in the gas station are in on it or something?
They are the patriarchs of this.
Yeah, Sawyer, father. He wasn't named yet, but yeah.
I've never seen Texas Chainsaw, so that'll be one of the next movie. I know it's supposed to be good. I know.
It's my favorite one.
Yeah.
I was hoping you got that one, Mike.
Yeah,
there's a couple of these I set up specifically for you guys. That was the first one that hit. I'm curious if maybe you'll get Jacob's one now.
Okay, yeah. Interesting.
It'll be like a Hellraiser scenario or something.
As well.
Find this strange box. Yeah.
You do the, what was it called? The Larian configuration.
Oh, the lament configuration. Yeah.
Thank you.
Someone offers you eternal pain and pleasure at the same time. What do you say?
Yeah.
Jacob, I'm going to say you escaped from Leatherface there. Because, of course, you weren't even willing to get out of the van, basically.
No.
You make your friend who's in the wheelchair go. You're like, no, Billy, you can wheel up the hill to get the gas.
Let's be honest. I'm not talking to any strange Texan people ever.
No.
The 70s was wild. Everyone's hitchhiking. And then, like, why was that ever a thing?
Yeah.
Like we saw even in the Friday the 13th, it's like, why are people hitchhiking? Why is anybody okay
why
with this?
are they hitchhiking?
Who's picking up hitchhikers these days? Nobody.
All right, Mike, it is to you. Any number 1 through 10 except for 3, 4, 6, and 7.
Okay, I guess I'll go number 10.
Number 10,
scary
closer.
That's right. They're all
This one you really have to remember that we talked about this.
Wow. Okay. I like it though. Dang.
All right, Mike, scenario 10. Tell me about scenario 10. Life on this spaceship has not been easy, Mike, but it has been fun with a crew like this. After a long night of space trucking, you wind down at dinner with the whole gang where your buddy starts telling the funniest joke you have ever heard in your life. You both are laughing so hard that he doubles over and starts choking on what I assume are scrambled eggs or something that you're eating.
Yeah.
You try to give him mouth to mouth when suddenly a creature explodes out of his body and scuttles away from you.
Oh no!
What is this scenario, and what do you do?
Oh my gosh. This scenario is from Alien.
Ding, ding, ding.
And my question is, am I Ripley or am I another crew person?
You are Dallas. You are the guy with the mustache, Mike.
Okay.
I'm the cat.
Who is
I would-
maybe the captain of the crew. So people are looking to you, too.
Sure.
Okay. First of all, we don't know where it is. No one would ever split up. We would find the flamethrower guns first. First
You
thing
also
we're
have,
doing.
I should point out, no knowledge that this thing is going to grow. You don't know if it would instead multiply.
Right.
You saw a crab run away, basically.
Yeah, we're going to ask my science guy, what does this seem like? Get any insights, and then we're going to, stick together because we don't know if it's dangerous or if it's a virus, right? This is space. Everything's high stakes. We don't know any foreign particle could like get us sick, right? So we kind of have a thing going, even though we're smoking inside of our spaceship. I think it's an unknown entity. Our dude's dead, so let's
Do you stay around that body, or do you immediately like quarantine it or like blow it
put
out
it
the
in
fucking
quarantine.
hole?
I think that's like, you either quarantine it and have the doctor study it while under supervision.
Sure.
And then, but we definitely get weaponry and we stick together, and who knows if we make it though. And if Ripley starts suggesting things, if more people are dying, I'm going to listen to her and say, that's a good idea.
Interesting. Interesting that Mike, your survival tactic is to listen to the women of the group. I do like
Yes,
that.
I will listen to Ripley, and she has great ideas. Yeah.
Anyone who weighs in on it. Yeah, because otherwise you're calling in that doctor who's doing the autopsy. But Mike, radio signal's not coming back, dog.
Nope.
Some of those people you've sent out to look for some things, they haven't come back either. I don't know, man. How
You don't
doing?
send anybody, horror movie 101, you don't send anybody to do anything on their own, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
It's always the buddy system, ideally more.
Yeah.
That's right.
Look at the Thing, you can't. Always
That's right.
the buddy system. Nobody does anything
That's
alone.
right.
That'd be the job. But ideally, we could do the airlock thing again or whatever,
I
That's a
like
good
that.
plan.
That's that sounds like the words of a team leader, Mike. That you took a leadership role, you jumped on there. I think you are surviving a trip on the USS Nostromos.
All right. Strength in
Congratulations.
numbers. And we'll have a sig about it after.
Here we go.
All right.
All right, Jacob. It is down to you. 3, 4, 6, 7, and 10 are off the board.
I'll do 11.
It goes 1 through 10. There is no 11.
Oh, okay.
You could do 0.
I'll
You could pick
do-
the ring again.
One.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you say 1 was taken already?
1
or no?
is on the table. Let's scroll up here.
Scariest number.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
It's the
Jacob.
loneliest.
That's right.
All right,
Mhm.
Jacob. Let's really think what we're doing here, okay?
Yeah.
You, my friend, you are a camp counselor setting out for your summer
Oh,
job,
No.
working at a camp by the lake where
hope I don't
you
have any
teach
sex.
pottery.
We're doing drugs.
Everything's kicking off great this year. However, god damn it, your car ran out of gas, forcing you to stand by the road and hitchhike. Luckily, a kind-hearted soul finally stopped and pulled over to offer you a ride. You thankfully hop in and explain your situation, asking to be dropped off at the camp.
And is it
Very
an old
strangely,
lady
however,
in a cable knit sweater, perhaps.
it is, and you know what? As they're driving, they refuse to talk to you and they just keep speeding up the car. What
don't
is
like
this
that.
scenario and how the hell do you get out of this? What do you do?
Well, that's Friday the 13th, and of course, as we know
Ding, ding,
about my
ding.
policy on
Mhm.
hitchhikers, I don't pick them up. I would also not get in a stranger's car in the first place.
You're not engaging in the practice
yeah.
of hitchhiking at all.
No,
Yeah.
I would not get in some random person's car. I don't care if they're a seemingly normal-looking old lady with a cable knit sweater.
The 70s would not have been good to you. This is how people got around.
Apparently, yeah. I mean, no cell phones. You just got to take what you can get and get in some stranger's car. I don't know, man.
I'll call
Not
you
for
on
me.
a payphone
Not for
in
me.
a week when I get there. No way. That's
Yeah.
tough
Yeah.
living.
And again, I
Fucking
think
smorgasbord for serial killers, though. Can we talk about that? It's just
Yeah.
literally, you just had to drive around and be like, oh, this person needs a ride. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's why like what Ted Bundy and stuff was so successful, because he would just get like random women to like help him out, like move like literally Silence of the Lambs, help
Jamie
move
Gumb,
his
yeah.
furniture or whatever,
Mhm.
right?
And he
it's like,
looked handsome. So they were like, he
Yeah.
seems normal. Yeah.
I think people more now are like more savvy, and like a lot of people listen to like true crime podcasts and stuff, so they're already extra paranoid. And I'm guessing
Yes.
that the majority of people would not just get in some rando's car anymore. That, especially in the middle
Unless
of the
they
woods.
had an
like
Uber
that.
sticker on the front. We really need to bring the fear. We need to put
that's
the
a good
fear. We need to
trick,
write that
Mike.
movie.
That's
Right.
interesting.
Well, there is
That's
that movie
scary.
about
Oh, do they
the
have
dude
that?
from the dude from Stranger
The
Things.
Joe Keery goes
Yeah.
crazy as an Uber driver. Yeah.
They need to make a serial killer movie about an Uber driver. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you real quick where this whole game derived from was our episode where you both really doubled down, and you, Jacob, especially being like, why aren't they fighting back against this grandma? Like, why aren't they just
That's
like
true, too.
pushing this old
Yeah.
lady down? But I think specifically the specifics of the scenario, the young woman who gets in the car, it is dead silent, and that car keeps driving and speeding. What do you do? Do you jump out here? Do you try to like
I would
stop
probably do
her?
a tactical roll where I'd open the door and try to drop and roll and try to not to injure
It's
myself.
a Jeep.
too
it might not
much.
even have a door. It might just be
But
able to get
that's
right out.
true. But Jacob, you do that, and I don't know if you're thinking this too, Mike. You get out of that car, it's just flipping around, and then you got headlights facing you. You getting run over?
I mean,
I would probably dodge
yeah.
it. Well,
This
here's
is
the
fight or
thing. So,
flight
like,
now.
Again,
You
this
probably
old
overpower
lady,
the lady, right? Yeah. Go ahead,
I
Jacob.
could,
Sorry,
but if you
this is
remember
yours.
I
this
would
death.
punch her as hard as I could. Jeez,
Yeah.
if I saw her, I would just crack her in the skull.
Hmm.
Probably, but if I'm remembering this death scene correctly, I think she just like slashes her throat, right? So if it was all of a sudden she just brought out a knife and slashed my throat, then I'd be like, now I'm
But
gonna
you're
die.
grabbing that weak old lady arm, and you're like, no.
Yeah. Again, yeah. If it's Jason, I'm a little more intimidated. If it's an old lady, I can probably overpower. I'm like a man in his early 30s. I'm saying
about
I could
this?
probably overpower. Yeah.
We saw it was the woods. You roll out of the car, you just run into the woods. A car cannot get in. Like, you just
Yeah.
disappear. Nobody's going to follow
100%.
you, right?
Yeah. And then I'd probably get lost and die in the woods. That's okay.
But unrelated. You just follow the road back that
Find
other
Camp
direction where
Crystal
the town
Lake.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third scenario where Jacob admits he would just choose death over actually getting away.
Well, in most of these scenarios, yeah, probably not me. Let's be honest.
I've been to
I
space
say in
twice.
this one, you fight off the oldest lady in the bluest cable net sweater you've ever seen, Jacob. And in fact, Pamela Voorhees falls to you. You survived Friday the 13th.
Wow.
And then
Great
you're in your
work.
apartment, and Jason comes in the second movie and gets you because
That's
you
right.
killed his mom.
Yeah, what a bummer.
Decapitator.
Bummer. Just to bring her
What a
back.
bummer. But that shot of you, Jacob, at the end when you're in your little canoe and the frog boy jumps out.
With the
That's the scariest
smoothest of jams.
Ah!
Yeah.
All right, Mike, it is to you. We're down 1, 3, 4, yes, 6, 7.
I'll do 8.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the other scariest number.
8 is a scary number, Mike, and I'm so happy you picked this one
Oh,
because,
okay.
boy, are you going to be scared when you realize that a fantasy of yours is actually going to become a nightmare. Now, Mike, I know you like visiting Japan, but let's say you just moved there with your
Oh,
wife
no.
and you just started a new job, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
You don't speak the language. Your wife keeps telling you it's going to get better. You spend most of the day taking care of your dying mother-in-law, Mike, and she's getting worse. And your day is also preoccupied by the strange sounds that the house you are in makes when you're alone. One day, you wake up and your mother has fallen down the stairs. You go down to help her and you hear a strange moan behind you. You look up to see a woman with a pale white face crawling down the stairs. What is this scenario and what do you do?
Well, this is The American Grudge. Directed by
Ding, ding, ding.
Takeshi Miike.
Well, you're already dead at this point. Let's be honest.
honest-
If you locked
Honestly.
eyes with her, it's over.
You can't move, right? But number one, you try to get out of the house, right? Number two, fight back. Nobody fights back in the movie. If it is a paralysis
Punch her
thing,
in the
but
face,
Just
yeah.
who
try
knows?
it,
Maybe she'll
at
react.
least.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
You know, every bully, you just need to stand up to him. And no one's ever stood up to Kayako. And if you just said, "Hey,
Hey.
stop it,
Knock it off.
stop it,"
And honestly, Mike, for my mental health, if I punch her and my hand goes through her, I'm like, okay, so she is a ghost. Like, just to get the confirmation would be
confirm
pretty
that,
good.
yeah.
I'd be
Yeah.
like, great, okay, good.
Initially, too, you'd probably like are you okay? Like, is she injured? Like, and then when it turns to aggression, then it's like you fight. If you can physically contact her, then you fight back, right? You're an invader in my home at this point. Castle law.
Well, and
or
what even is
leave.
the cause of death in these movies when you die? Are they just like dying of fright, or like
Right.
what is actually
Yeah,
causing
I would
them
assume
to
your
die?
heart literally stops. Yeah.
Yeah. In the Grudge, Ju-on the Grudge 2, the Japanese sequel, there's visual kills, like where she has hanged somebody with her hair or something, you know.
That's
So
dope.
that's the only one where you see kills, so that one's kind of interesting to check out. But the movie's
You're
always
taking a
cut.
shower, Mike. Little fingers are coming out. No, but
Right.
so,
Oh, no.
truly, you're the master of this. So again, I'm so glad you got this one.
Mhm.
Let's say you know the fact from the other ones.
Yeah.
Is there a cure, like how in Ringu they just show other people the tape? Is there
Like, you
any
can
way
pass it
out of this?
on.
Yeah.
As far as
According
I
to
know,
the Grudge 2, the American version, say no.
No,
'cause
it's just you're
it
cursed.
follows
Everyone's
you
cursed forever.
wherever you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
you
the
go back to
Grudge-
Chicago and it'll follow you there.
Yeah, in all 14 of them, there is no way whatsoever.
No one's ever survived.
Nobody has ever survived the Grudge.
That sucks.
Ever.
That sucks. Mike.
So I'm
That
fucked.
fucking sucks.
You would
I hate
try.
The
that.
closest thing is they tried
But
to
you
burn
cannot.
down the house, right? If you burn down
Yes.
the house,
And we don't know if
potentially
that
you
would
can stop
work
the
or
Grudge.
not, because
Yeah.
they didn't finish it. But in the second, it just let her get more free. But maybe if you actually
Nobody
burn that house
ever.
down.
Oh God! Somebody needs to burn that house down. Somebody needs to burn them all down.
They finally actually demolished the real one. But yeah, nobody's ever survived. So you would attempt to fight
Wow.
back more than they do in the movie or leave the house. But even like Jacob said, you go to Chicago, you're fucked. You're
Yeah,
done.
you're
Okay.
already
You're done.
fucked. You have a 0% chance of survival.
Yeah, the Grudge is 0% survival rate.
I'm giving you the win for the choice to fight back, but
I
it is
tried.
unfortunate that it's yes, it is just.
I'll go
death,
down in a
apparently.
blaze of glory at least. I won't. Yeah, I won't roll over.
Yeah.
All right, so at this point, let me just read what we have left, Jacob. So there
All
are
right.
2, 5, 9, and that is it. So you got choice between 2, 5, and 9.
Mm.
I'll do 5.
Mm.
5. 5, 5.
This other scariest number.
Interesting. Ooh, incredibly scary. All right, here's a good one for you. All right, Jacob. You survived the camp, but let's see how you're doing now that you've got your new job as a babysitter.
Oh,
In
no.
fact, you just invited your girlfriend over and had sex with her at the house where you were
Liking it so
babysitting
far.
a young boy who was put to sleep.
Yeah.
Now, it's the biggest party night of the year, but for some reason, the kids need to stay home and the parents need to go out and party. And that is
course.
why you were there to babysit. And you're fine with that because, again, you just finished having the best sex of your life. Your girlfriend gets up to go to the bathroom. You light a joint, you lean back, you're feeling good, and she suddenly comes in. Except you
The
think it's
she?
her. She's wearing a ghost
no.
costume and she has her glasses
Glasses.
over it. Now,
No.
now, Jacob, what is this scenario? And what do you do?
Well, I'm assuming she wants to do some kind of role play scenario where she's a ghost.
Oh,
So
man.
maybe I'm into it. I don't know.
Well, Jacob, it's say what the name of the scenario is
yes.
because that's a good hint to say.
Of course, this is Halloween.
It's a Halloween role play. Who doesn't have sex as a ghost that night?
Mhm.
Who doesn't? Yeah. Sex with a ghost.
Ding, ding, ding.
Right?
Ghostbusters.
Busted makes
So
me feel good.
let's say you wouldn't know from that. There would be no. I mean, you would feel weird if your girlfriend came in a costume right after you saw her, right? In
I
a
just
sheet.
didn't
But you
say
wouldn't.
anything and then just
Yeah,
walked
you wouldn't
towards me
immediately think this
Mhm.
thing's going to kill you. So let's say just Michael comes in the thing, in the mask, holding the knife. What the fuck do you do if you're just laying in bed there, man?
I'd be like, well, I guess I'm about to die. Maniac at this point. But I guess I would try to run towards the window or just escape. I mean, it's blocking the door to the room. Then I would try. Yeah, I would try to go to the window, try to escape. Because if a giant, like, tall, muscular guy in a jumpsuit in a fucked up William Shatner mask
Mhm.
comes in with a knife, I'm like, I'm not trying to fight this guy. He's
No.
got a knife. I'm on. I'm just gonna try to get the fuck out of there.
And it's not one of the later sequels. This isn't the legacy. This isn't something you've heard of. This is the first fucking night, and this guy is in your house. Fuck
And
yeah,
not even
get out
my
of
house
there.
though, just the house that I'm
No, not
babysitting
even your
at.
house. Maybe it's the dad. He came home early and he's just trying to scare you.
Yeah, I guess I would
Yeah.
think about that, but I'd be like, he's holding a knife. I'm not taking my chances. And then I'd be like, well, I'm supposed to be protecting these kids that I'm babysitting or whatever. But let me get out of this room first. So I go to the window and then try to come back in the house later and try to grab the kids and make sure they're
No,
safe.
absolutely not. Cops would get a call from a payphone with you and your boxers like 3 blocks up. Like, yeah, I don't know these kids.
That is an interesting complication though, because like you would feel a duty of care if it was like a child, young kid.
Yeah.
It's like I can't just leave if there's a threat.
Once again, I'm probably just dying, if I'm being honest.
You probably know
you
how
got
tall your
away.
girlfriend
You ran
is
out of the
too,
bed.
even with the sheet. You'd be like, yeah, you're taller.
My girlfriend is 6'10".
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like yeah, I noticed the
Yeah.
size difference.
Yeah, but anyway, that's tough.
All right, let's
Laurie
say
Strode
you
did not
made it
go
away.
through the glass window, like the glass door.
Yes.
She could have hit that with a chair.
Jacob, you survived the boogeyman. You got out of there.
Awesome.
Heck
All right. Mike, it is down to number 2 and number 9. Yes.
I'll take 9, the other scariest number.
You will take 9. All right, Mike, congratulations. Congratulations, my friend. You did it. You finished that goddamn puzzle box.
Oh,
It was
no.
sharp.
No.
The edges kept cutting your fingers, but you finished it. Your dad would be so proud of you if he hadn't mysteriously disappeared when he gave you that puzzle box in the mail, saying he never was able to finish it. Now you can finally relax from your obsession and go to bed. You turn the lights out. You lay down when quietly in the darkness you hear, "Pain is pleasure."
Oh, no.
What is this scenario, and what do you do?
Well, this scenario is from Hellraiser,
Ding, ding, ding.
and the Cenobites are gonna come get me. Real life, man. Terrifying. These demons are appearing to you, right?
Absolutely.
Saying they're gonna fuck you up forever.
Do you even listen to them if they say, "We can offer you the ultimate prize"? Like, are you even investigating that, or
Hell
truly
yeah.
are you just like, put an end to this? I don't want to hear voices in my head.
I'm not entertaining this. I
No.
don't care about the deal. I try to get out. You try to leave the room if you can, but I don't think you're aware of the fact that like your father or uncle is like back from the dead, and like that whole mechanism of, oh, if I can just give them what they want. You're totally unaware of how to survive the Hellraiser thing, so that one's really tricky. You would presumably eventually have to listen to what their deal is and try to like figure out, how can I reason with you once you accept that it's real. But like, unless you figure out the mystery of like, oh, my uncle / dad or whatever is a bad person and like also a zombie guy, and it's having my stepmom bring people for him to murder, you would have to solve the mystery, and that's the only way to survive. But I would probably, who knows if you would be able to do that. That's tough.
That is such an interesting point. I think it falls into the Sadako world of like, or the Grudge world of like, it's just willpower. Like truly, you might just have to like show them I'll, like you said, like listen to whatever the deal is, but like also show them like, I'm not interested. I'm not doing this. I'm not going forward with it, and just like make that known.
Like, and like, where's the disclaimer on the box? Like, I didn't know what was going to happen with this, guys. Like, hey, and you know what? That is true with the Sadako, because if for the Grudge, I would have just gotten the videotape and played it in the house and made them fight each other. That's how you survive. But even that didn't work.
Actually, retroactively, you get 100 points for that one. You're
right. I forgot that there's a way to do it. No, but nobody survives that either.
Extra point. Can anybody remind me what is the name of the short story? Darkness in Your Heart. What was it, Jacob?
Heart of Darkness?
The what is it called?
Hellborn Heart.
The Hellborn Heart. Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Nice.
The Hellborn Heart or something like that.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know if you could
Clive
survive
Barker.
that.
I think you did. I think truly by you solve it, Mike, you hear this thing and you're like, no. And you just keep saying to Pinhead, no, no, no. And like, go away. No. And it's just, I think it would just not affect you.
Yeah, just explain yourself more. Why am I obligated? Where's the lawyer? This makes no sense. Yeah.
Or you end up
the
like
puzzle
Goran
box.
Vizak and there's like a
Agreed to-
harp that is attached to your dick or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
like
The thing is, a
whatever
lot of
that
times
was.
Camera guy.
Yeah.
in those movies, the person who is actively trying to summon the Cenobites, at least like in the new one, like
Right.
you're saying, because he's like a rich collector who's like
Yes.
wants to experience every.
He kind of
pleasure and
knows what it's
sensation.
supposed to be
Pleasures.
about. Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if you just
Had it
accidentally
all.
open it.
So if you
like,
never
I'm
mess
sorry.
with the puzzle box in the first place, you're never gonna have any problems.
I wouldn't
Right, but I
hitchhike.
guess-
I wouldn't solve puzzle boxes.
True.
That's
no,
right.
I guess because that's the whole thing. Is they're like, oh, you open this because you want to explore the mysteries. I'm like, I didn't know that. Sorry.
This was a game to me.
I didn't realize.
I don't know if you know this.
We will show you the ultimate
in this
game.
dimension. Do
I'm
you have
okay.
Rubik's cubes? Like I would be explaining that to him.
Check
Like this
this
means
out.
nothing to us.
This is a
Pain is
leisure
pleasure.
activity here.
No, stop
this
that.
is pleasure solving it. I don't need the rest.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Butterball is like putting like oil on your back, Mike. and
Yeah.
you're like, get out of here.
Right.
Chatterer
Yeah, it's just
is
a big
there.
misunderstanding. I
Chatterer.
guess that's all you can do.
Yeah,
Excuse
the
me, Mr.
reel,
Head.
the VHS reel tape, whatever it was.
Yeah.
All right, I'm Mike. Congratulations, you survived Pinhead. You made
Thank
it
you.
away.
Thank you.
Now, Jacob, it is our final scenario here, so you don't even get to choose.
Let's do it. Hit me with
Let's
it.
do it. Number 2. Okay, you ready for this? This is perfect for you.
I'm ready.
Because, my friend, this is you. You,
Uh-oh.
buddy, are a bad boy in a leather jacket.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
You are young. You are virile. You're
All
definitely
right.
not in your late 30s. Okay. You're going to
Liking
stop
it so
off at your
far.
girlfriend's home. Okay. For a quick little makeout session. She works at her babysitting job. Okay.
Sounds great.
She
Sounds
whispers
like I'm
in her
doing
ear.
a lot of babysitting.
Yep. But also you get laid a lot,
sexual
Jacob.
Situations, yeah.
yeah.
But your girlfriend, she says something special to you. She's sharing a kink with you here. Okay. You can't shame her. You need to listen to her. Okay. She says, you know what would make me super horny? Following very specific urban legend instructions.
Yeah.
And she takes you into a bathroom where she starts saying a name 5 times in the mirror, but she stops because she says, I want you to say these names. Jacob, what is this scenario from? And what do you do?
Well, this is from Candyman, of course.
Don't say it. Dig.
Yeah,
Don't say
that's
it.
once.
Well, that's the thing is that I wouldn't say it because I'm not messing with no spiritual things. Like I'm not saying Bloody Mary in the mirror. I know
You
I just
are
said it, but
guaranteed to get laid right here. And if you don't do it, she is going to call you chicken.
she's gonna be
And
turned
it is
off.
going to blow the
Mhm.
whole thing.
Well, I don't know. I probably would say, "Honey, baby, I'm sorry, but I don't mess with no ghosts. I don't mess with no urban legends. I'm not trying to summon Candyman. I'm not trying to get hooked to death. You know what I mean? I did just say it again. You're right.
Oh, boy.
Gotcha. You got 3 more, I think.
You, as you're explling to her that you won't say the name Candyman,
I'm
say
not
it
going to
5
summon
times.
this man named Candyman.
That would be very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in real life, I'm not trying to summon Bloody Mary. Like I'm not going
Okay,
to the mirror and
but
saying,
she says to you, okay, we won't do that. We won't do that. Let's do this game instead. And she turns to the mirror and she wants you to say it too. She says, Virginia Madsen. Virginia Madsen.
well, yes, I would try to summon her,
Okay.
of course.
Not her from her movie. Her, actually. Her.
Just the actors, yeah.
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 I mean, you're already smoking a cigarette.
right. She put on her sunglasses, light up a cigarette, it'd be great. But yeah, I would just explain to my girlfriend, I'd be like, hey, look, why are you trying to tempt fate and summon some kind of ghost or urban legend? Like just leave it alone. Like we don't want to summon
Yeah.
spirits in this house.
This
you
is
know?
this is where
Yeah.
I kink shame. I say this is what gets you off. I'm like, walk me through all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say I'm
How
gonna
about
go
I
talk to my
go-
brother. He's a famous
Yeah.
movie director. It's gonna be great.
No, I'll go and get a sheet and put my glasses over it and pretend
Yes.
to be a ghost if that
Yes.
works. But we're not
Absolutely.
doing
Yeah.
this.
I'd be like, why
And
are you
Mike,
trying
you
to
as well.
force
You
this?
just like, I'm blowing this. You're not doing it. You're getting another.
No. I'm like, this is dumb, and you're dumb for liking
Yeah.
it. I'm
We're
out.
I
We're
would definitely,
breaking up.
before I said it, I'd be like, tell me the story again. And she'd be like, he was this black guy who had a hook for it. I'd be like, But like, how do you know this? Like, I'd be investigating all of this. I'd be like, what are you talking about?
legend.
What is this?
And so what's the
Like, who
outcome of
told
this
you?
supposedly going to be? Right.
It's like Bloody Mary. Who told you about Bloody Mary?
I should have asked those
she
questions as a
became
kid. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know her story. I should have asked that as a kid.
Yeah. I learned it from Supernatural.
Yeah, who is Bloody Mary? What is this?
We've said that too many times, guys.
We definitely
You know what?
by now.
In fact, I'm going to write my thesis graduate paper on it. I'm going to figure out
Now
where
we're talking.
all these urban myths started.
That's where it gets tricky.
That's
It's
right.
like, this is your career path, and I'm trying to be supportive of your
writing my
obsession.
What do you think your job is going to be when you graduate from here? What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah. Oh,
all right, guys. Thank you so much for playing. Jacob, you survived the Candyman himself there. And guys, that was What Do You Do? That was our spooky edition. Thanks for playing along.
That's a very, very fun segment. What do you do? And let us know what you do. Yeah.
Yes, please write in if you played along.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, I would not survive most horror scenarios. And I would probably die in most of them.
What do you think was the hardest to survive out of those? I guess I agree that the Grudge was, or I guess maybe Alien. Because that I'm just like, I would just blow my brains out if I was an alien. I'm like, we're not getting out of here.
There's such a lack of information with Alien.
Yes, I'm so confused. I'm scared.
Aliens are real, apparently. That's kind of
how do you make plans? Yeah.
I would pick up the cat and truly just bolt. I would just be gone.
But where would you go? You're in a spaceship.
I would get like an escape pod or
go to a bulkhead
see you guys later.
Yeah. That's it.
Again, I think one that we didn't do, Final Destination, is a lot like The Grudge, where it's pretty much a 0%. I think maybe, I don't know if there's some loophole in one of the sequels where the final people made it out, but I know like even in the first one,
I think you literally have to beg Tony Todd Candyman for forgiveness. I think you have to be like, and then I think he even is like, no, you still have to die.
You have to try to cheat death somehow, but pretty much every person has not made it.
No.
So yeah, maybe Final Destination is another good one.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, The Grudge. It works because you can't win. So I guess the theming is the worst part about it is you just get fucked over of no fault of your own. You know, like you just get fucked sometimes, and that's
you're in your job,
like
literally you're hired to do something, and you're like, I'm dying because of this,
you're
because
a
of minimum wage.
Who went in to investigate a murder, and now you're caught up in it, and you're going to die too.
So I guess the theme is,
if I was that, at least I would be trying to burn a house down.
That's true. In every iteration, detective tries to burn it, but it's like bad shit happens to people. Fuck, like that's kind of what The Grudge is, I guess. Like sometimes it can't be helped. Bad shit happens to people, and you can't
sometimes
stop it.
You can't escape your trauma.
It's like an incurable virus. So
I called it the zombie virus of ghosts. It's the wildest premise I've ever heard.
It's just on accident. Whoops, wrong room. Didn't mean to come in here.
But I was married to Sarah Michelle Gellar. I don't deserve this. My life was good.
Right,
you can slay vampires. Why can't you slay this ghost?
Yeah, come on. Anyway, but no one's actually tried to, so we don't know if the ghost is vulnerable.
That's why you're getting away, Mike. That's why you're getting away.
Let me do the reboot, America. I got a plan. All right.
Boy.
Well, that was very fun, Colin.
Great segment.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, that was us wrapping up Spooktacular. Any final thoughts on our 270 Whatcha here? I got some great recs from you guys. Truly, in the back of my mind, I'm like, am I going to start Doctor Who? Oh, no.
Right, I hope you do. And here's the thing. If you do watch it, the first season, maybe not the best. If
you mean the first one? I'm going to start on the black and white.
The ones that are missing.
I like Christopher Eccleston, but his episodes maybe weren't the best. If you can make it to the first David Tennant season, there's some really strong episodes in there, and that might get you hooked a little bit. But
interesting.
Right. Of course, you got Billy Piper, Rose, Tyler, of course, in the first
I do have Billy Piper.
So check it out, Normies. It's on Max, and we love it. We love Doctor Who, don't we?
Yes. I guess we do. Yeah, I've only seen. I said it before. The one with the statue angel things, and it's spooky.
Blink. That's one of the
known
as one of the best episodes. That's a Tennant era episode.
Yeah, that's the only.
That's got to be Moffat or whatever his name is, because that's just known for its writing, right?
Yeah, Russell T Davies probably.
Yeah, I like that episode. So maybe I'll jump in once I finish One Piece. I only got about 800 episodes left.
You're getting there though.
All I'm saying is, if you can make it through the Christopher Eccleston season, not that it's bad or anything. Quality of writing wasn't there yet. The budget wasn't there yet. So, but
it's like season 1 and 2.5 of TNG.
Star Trek,
like
yeah.
it gets there. It gets there.
Yeah, exactly. They find their footing eventually.
Listeners, check out Mike's streams. He's going to be doing some dope Armored Core.
Yes,
I
we'll be.
love watching how you do that. That's fucking awesome with your setup. If you get, will you look into Lies of P? Will you consider that being your next stream? I really feel like it is a Mike game in the making.
It looks good. I wanted to.
I've heard.
I talked to a guy at
great things about
GameStop the other day who was like, "It's the greatest game ever." I was like, "Oh my god!"
I see people in the Dark Souls community saying it's like out Bloodborne's Bloodborne. Like it's like
That's so
really,
wild.
really good.
It's already known as the best non-FromSoft
Yes.
Soulsborne game ever
Yes.
made.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, which I would put like those Final Fantasies now. Like it is, people are trying to rip off that style.
It's a whole
since Elden Ring.
subgenre. Yeah, there's a ton of Soulsborne type clone games, of course.
Yeah, Lords of the Fallen is another one. But it's funny, guys.
Yes.
I'm playing Armored Core, and then that's also Souls-ish adjacent.
Yeah.
And then to go back to Lives of Pi, another Souls. We'll just stay in it. And then Elden Ring DLC will come out next year. There's going to be a lot of Souls happening.
Wow.
We'll see.
We'll see. Follow along, normies.
It was a good watch though. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thanks for filling us in.
Absolutely.
We definitely got our game award predictions correct.
I'm excited by the next one. Maybe I'll have seen a bunch more seasons of Doctor Who. I can give you my update on the new doctors and whatnot. And I'm trying to catch up to the live because it literally ended in 2022, Jodie Whittaker's run. And it's been off air for like a year, and now it's coming back with these 3 or 4 specials, I think, which are like the Christmas specials, and then the new season with Ncuti Gatwa. So I'm trying to catch up to live so I can watch it. It's gonna be great.
That'd be a lot to eat just to get back to David Tennant, though. That would be cool to be like, yes, I just saw and now more.
Yes,
that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, all right. That's my guy, David Tennant. We love him. Ahsoka. Played
Watch
a
Broadchurch.
And by next Whatcha, what if I'm like, guys, Super Mario Wonder's the greatest game ever made.
Game of the year, robbery.
Not bothers going to happen, but be on the lookout, listeners.
I'll still be playing Baldur's Gate by the time we get to the next one.
I'll still be playing my Connected Madden franchise. Let's go. That's what the normies want to hear.
Let's go.
Let's go. It's 2073.
I want that 2077 Super Bowl. I swear to God.
There's cyborgs in the NFL now.
Yeah, you play as V. Johnny Silverhands is your wide receiver. We know you've been explaining it.
Silverhands, the Golden Glove.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us for another Whatcha. It's a supersized Whatcha.
Yes.
You know, and
absolutely. Thank you.
Let us know what you've been watching and all that too.
Yes, let us know. Write in as always at _ no, that's not what it is. At Normies _ us. Where we definitely want to know what you've been. If you've been reading something, watching something, listening to something. If you played along with our little segment game, let us know there too. We love it. We love it. Always watch our YouTube videos as well.
Leave us some comments on YouTube. We love to hear them.
Review, subscribe.
One Piece fans, we know you're out there. Thank you.
I talked about it on this episode. Please SEO us. One Piece.
It counts. We're gonna keep getting you.
Michael,
every week ask me if I
watch
more. Yeah.
Hooray!
Great. All right.
All right, normies. Thanks.
As always, we're your hosts. Totally normie Colin.
Totally normie Mike.
And totally normie Jacob. Thanks, normies.
Take it
Catch
easy
you next
normies.
time.
Keep it normal.
That's right.
Stay normal. Yeah.
Norm out.
Stay normal, folks.
Norm out, dude. Hell yeah. It's Norman time.